Chapter 278. He wouldn't be like this. Something must have happened. Yu Songhuan knew his son too well. He wouldn't stay in the castle for so long. He also knew his son's temper. Even if something happened, he wouldn't tell outsiders. He wouldn't let her know either. Everything that happened was learned from other people's mouth. At this moment, in the castle, Yu Songhuan was worried about his son and had a lot of fun with his daughter-in-law. A car stopped outside the castle and Gu Linshan got out. He had a tall figure and was dressed in black. His aura was cold. After getting out of the car, he looked around coldly. Then, he walked into the castle. After entering the hall, he didn't see Di Haotian. Actually, before coming to the castle, he had already been to tea. Only then did he know that Di Haotian hadn't been to tea for half a month. He didn't call and came directly to the castle. "Young Master Gu, you're here?" Lien immediately went forward to greet him. "Where's Di Haotian?" Lien hesitated for a moment and was thinking about how to say it. "Don't give me any excuses. If he's not in tea or anywhere else, he must be in the castle. Go and tell him that I'm here." Gu Linshan ordered expressionlessly. Then, he walked in the direction of the side hall. When he saw the sofa in the side hall, he was dazed for a moment. At that time, he had interacted with Tang Bao. When the Tang Bao wanted to sneak up on him, he picked him up and hugged him. That was really interesting. Lien thought for a moment and said, "Please wait for a moment, young Master Gu. I'll go now." After saying that, Lien went upstairs. In fact, he was also afraid, but he couldn't offend either of them, so he had to bite the bullet and go. Standing in front of the door, he raised his hand and knocked. "Young Master Di, young Master Gu is here." On the bed, Di Haotian was sweating profusely. Even when he heard the knock, he didn't stop talking to Lien. Di Haotian growled, "I don't have time. Tell him to scram." Even though they were separated by a door, Lien was still shaken by the roar. He immediately left this place. Gu Linshan was sitting on the sofa in the side hall, drinking tea. Lien walked over and said, "Young Master Gu, the Emperor doesn't have time to see you now." "What do you mean no time? What did he say?" Gu Linshan's face darkened. Young Master Di's original words were, "I don't have time, tell him to get lost." Since he wanted to hear the original words, Lien would naturally repeat them to him without missing a single word. Gu Linshan's face turned green. He stood up with a sinister aura. "No time? With Tang Bao in the room?" "Yes." Gu Linshan turned and left. However, his expression was as if he wanted to kill someone. Not long after Gu Linshan left. Thus, it ended a landslide and the earth cracked. Di Haotian was about to hug Tang Bao and sleep for a while when there was a knock on the door again. Di Haotian thought it was Gu Linshan again and was about to scold him. "Young Master Di, old madam is here." Di Haotian frowned. Tang Bao, who was in his arms, opened his eyes. He wanted to get up. "Don't move, I'll go. This isn't good. I'd better go, or else mother will be angry." Tang Bao thought of the last time. Yu Songhuan was very unhappy because she hid in the room and didn't go out. "Do you want me to carry you down?" Di Haotian looked at her teasingly and asked. Tang Bao was speechless. She was going to see Yu Songhuan like this. She might as well stay in the room. Otherwise, it would be too embarrassing. Thus, she lay down again. Di Haotian covered her with the blanket and said, "Go to sleep. Will mother really not be angry? She was angry last time. Hubby is here, what are you afraid of? Close your eyes." "Okay." Tang Bao closed his eyes obediently. Di Haotian sat on the edge of the bed and looked at her. In less than a minute, he heard the sound of even breathing. Tang Bao had already fallen asleep. Di Haotian went downstairs in his pajamas and didn't want to hide what he was doing in the room. And everyone in the castle saw Di Haotian walk out of his room for the first time in half a month. "Young Master Di." Lien greeted him respectfully. Yu Songhuan was sitting quietly on the sofa in the hall and waiting. Di Haotian sat down on the sofa opposite him and leaned lazily. "Why did you suddenly come over? Can't I come over to see you if there's nothing? Yu Song-hwan finished speaking and looked at his son up and down. He was wearing pajamas and his face didn't look like there was anything wrong. In other words, nothing happened to her son. Was he really just staying in the castle? However, Yu Song-hwan still found it unbelievable. Half a month, not half a day. So, Yu Song-hwan asked hesitantly, have you been staying in the castle recently? You didn't go out? Yes, I was just about to rest, so I gave myself a break. You're still sleeping at this time? Yu Song-hwan asked. Her eyes weren't for decoration. Of course, she could see that Di Haotian had just gotten out of bed. There's no need to change clothes in the room. Di Haotian's expression was so calm that no one doubted it. Yu Song-hwan looked around. Chapter 279. Other people would have to put in a lot of effort to get close to T, and T might not even want them. She was lucky to be married to the leader of T. She saved herself a lot of shortcuts. This was Tang Bao's greatest ability. But she still looked down on her. She's sleeping? Yu Song-hwan's expression turned ugly. Why is she sleeping every time I come? She's so rude. She's preparing to give birth to a grandson for you. Yu Song-hwan was stunned. She's pregnant? Although she didn't like her, she would still like her grandson if she had a child. It would be the blood of the Di family. No, she's working on it, Di Haotian said. Yu Song-hwan finally understood why his son came down in his pajamas at this time. He couldn't help but glare at his son. Didn't you say that she's still young and you don't want her to get pregnant? Di Haotian said lazily. I changed my mind. You want a child? Sort of. What do you mean, sort of? You're already 30 years old. You should have had a child long ago. It's okay to put the tea matter aside for now. But you shouldn't stay in the house for half a month. What do you want the people in T to think? Your second uncle has been eyeing you covetously. It's not like you don't know. So, you knew that I didn't go to T for half a month from second uncle. Di Haotian's eyes were cold. I know what he's thinking. But is it true that you didn't go to T? He wants to replace me. Even if I don't go to T for a month, he won't be able to. Di Haotian was expressionless. Since you know what you're doing, I won't say anything more. Yu Song-hwan left the castle after he finished speaking. There was no expression on Di Haotian's face, but his black eyes were filled with coldness. When Tang Bao woke up, he found himself in Di Haotian's arms. She met Di Haotian's smiling black eyes. His voice was low and hoarse. I'm going to tea today. Rest well at home. Tang Bao thought of something and immediately came to a realization. You said that yesterday because you're going to tea, right? So you want me to go back on my word now? No, that's not what I meant. We really should go to tea, Tang Bao quickly said. She really wanted her old life. When Di Haotian got up, he warned her, don't go to the company without a good rest. If I find out, I won't forgive you. Do you think I have the strength to go to the company now? It's good that you know. Tang Bao. As soon as the Di Haotian people, who had disappeared for a long time, appeared in tea, everyone was in a state of panic. The first unlucky one was, ask Di Junbai to come see me. Not long after, Di Junbai went to Di Haotian's office. In the office, Di Haotian sat on a black chair and looked at Di Junbai with a pair of dark eyes. What orders do you have, young master? Compared to Di Haotian's cold expression, Di Junbai was calmer. It was as if he hadn't done anything wrong and was just Di Haotian's subordinate. Why don't you guess why I've called you here? Di Junbai thought for a while and said, Young master, you're unpredictable. I can't guess. Di Haotian stood up and unleashed his full power. His aura was frightening as he walked toward Di Junbai. He stood in front of him. His eagle eyes stared at him coldly. Chapter 280. Di Junbai's lips curled into a bitter smile. So you already know. Actually, I'm not playing a game. I'm just thinking, how much do you care about the Tang Bao? Would you not want her because she's not a virgin? Would you divorce her because she was forced to betray you? It seems like you really care about her. Even if she did something wrong to you, you still want to have her. What right do you have to interfere in the matter between me and her? Di Haotian's face was dark. Brother, don't you know that I like her too? I gave her to you. Don't you think you should thank me? Di Junbai asked. Di Haotian stared coldly at Di Junbai. His face was expressionless, but his lack of expression only made the restlessness and jealousy in his heart even more unbridled. Because Di Junbai was telling the truth. Back then, he married the Tang Bao because of his means. Otherwise, the person that the Tang Bao would have married was Di Junbai. You better know your current status. She's my wife. You should call her sister-in-law. She will only belong to me in this lifetime. You have nothing to do with her. You don't have the ability to do that, do you understand? Di Haotian said coldly. Understood. Don't let me know that you have other thoughts. Di Junbai, my patience is limited. She chose you in the end. In the future, I won't have any other thoughts. Get out? Di Haotian looked at him coldly. After Di Junbai left, Di Haotian's face was cold. No matter what happened in the past, the Tang Bao's heart and body now belonged to him. The Tang Bao belonged to him alone. It had nothing to do with anyone else. That was the most important thing. Di Junbai returned to his office and sat in his chair in a daze. Did he really regret not touching the Tang Bao that day? He had thought about this question. He didn't get an answer, but after leaving Di Haotian's office today, he felt that he was wrong to give up on the Tang Bao. Perhaps he was wrong from the very beginning, and he would continue to be wrong until the end. But he could no longer correct it. A knock on the door brought him back to reality. It was Di Lingyue. Why is Di Haotian looking for you? Nothing. I just wanted to ask about tea. You're obviously trying to fool me. If he really wanted to know about tea, would he ask you? Why did Di Haotian imprison you when you were hiding it from me from the beginning? I knew it had something to do with the party. I still don't understand. How did the villa get blown up for no reason? Who did it? What was his goal? Who is the person he wants to deal with? You didn't investigate? Di Junbai asked. I did, but I didn't find anything. Di Haotian will probably investigate too. I don't think there will be any good result. Di Lingyue looked at his calm son and asked, Are you sure you don't want to tell me about what happened that day? Di Junbai was silent for a while before saying, Nothing. Di Lingyue's expression was very ugly. He said, You're so embarrassed to talk about it. It should be about you and the Tang Bao, right? Don't think that I can't tell that you like her. Since you want her, why did you give it to someone else? She should belong to you. Just like Di Haotian would never get her. You didn't fight for anything, and in the end, everything went to him. How are you not as good as him? You're not as ruthless as him. That's your weakness. So you're going to give everything to him and leave yourself with nothing? Di Junbai, you'll regret it one day. After saying that, Di Lingyue stood up, turned around and left. Di Junbai sat there alone with a cold expression. When Di Haotian wasn't in the castle, Tang Bao felt very comfortable. She rested on the bed for an afternoon. Then she tried to get off the bed. It felt a little unreal when her feet touched the ground. She calculated the time and realized that she hadn't gotten off the bed for half a month. If she told others, they wouldn't believe her. No matter how inexperienced Tang Bao was, she knew that no one would stay in bed for half a month after entering the bridal chamber. She really underestimated Di Haotian's ability. His demand was too scary. Tang Bao got off the bed and walked a few steps. She felt very tired all over. The ligaments that were tortured and pulled were especially sore. Fortunately, her ligaments were not bad. Otherwise, they would have been broken by Di Haotian. When Tang Bao walked to the door, she wondered if she should go out. Would she still have the face to go out? What would the servants in the castle think if she didn't go out for half a month? Di Haotian was thick-skinned, but she wasn't as thick-skinned as him. Tang Bao first opened the door a little and then stuck her head out. Then, her eyes met with Zhang Li's eyes outside. "Young madam, you're already up? Are you hungry? I cooked bird's nest for you." Zhang Li suppressed his frightened little heart and asked. Tang Bao opened the door with a face full of sweat. "Why are you standing at my door? It's so scary." "Young madam, I just walked over." Zhang Li expressed his innocence. Tang Bao touched his nose to hide it and asked, "Is Di Haotian back?" "Not yet, this is what young master ordered. Young master said that when young madam wakes up, she will be hungry, so he asked us to prepare it." Zhang Li looked at Tang Bao with bright eyes. Tang Bao really couldn't understand Zhang Li's gaze and said, "Bring it in. I'm really hungry." Zhang Li's eyes were shining because she heard the conversation between Di Haotian and Yu Songhuan. She watched as Tang Bao sat down and ate the bird's nest bite by bite. She really couldn't help but ask, "Young madam, are you ready to give birth?" Zhang Li either didn't say anything or directly choked her. Young madam, are you okay?" Zhang Li hurriedly asked. Tang Bao shook her head. "It was just a choke. It wasn't serious." "I'm fine, but who told you this?" "I heard young master and old madam say that. Moreover, young master and Madam Shen hadn't come out of their room for half a month. Weren't they working hard to give birth?" Zhang Li felt embarrassed about this, so she didn't say it out loud. She was just shocked that the young master was so amazing. He had been fighting for half a month. What did Di Haotian and his mother say? Tang Bao stopped eating the bird's nest and asked in disbelief. Old madam asked young master why young madam was still sleeping. Then young master said that young madam wanted to give birth to a grandson for old madam. When did she think about it? She still had time to think about it in half a month? I can tell that old madam is very happy. She was also very happy. Chapter 281. Besides, she wasn't ready yet. Was this what Di Haotian said perfunctorily, or did he mean it? Tang Bao thought that Di Haotian didn't seem to have taken any precautions in the past half a month. No, that might not be the case. Maybe she was thinking too much. How could she get pregnant in the first month? "Young madam, aren't you going to eat it? You'd better eat it all. If you're preparing for pregnancy, bird's nest is very good for pregnant women and children. And if your belly gets bigger, there won't be any ugly patterns on your belly. Your skin will be better after giving birth, as if you've never given birth," Zhang Li said. Tang Bao looked at the bird's nest in the bowl. She thought to herself, why should she eat it? She wasn't going to get pregnant with Di Haotian's child. Why should she eat it? But as she thought this, she began to feed herself spoonful by spoonful. Tang Bao was speechless. What the hell was going on? Was she really going to be a mother? When Di Haotian returned to the castle and entered the room, Tang Bao was leaning on the bed and playing with her phone. Seeing the tall figure entering the bedroom, Tang Bao just raised her eyes and continued to play with her phone. Her phone was suddenly snatched away. Tang Bao was unhappy. "Why did you take my phone? Give it back." "You look like this when you see your husband come back? Is it itchy again? Did you tell your mother that I'm going to give birth to your child?" "Yes." "You should be lying, right?" Tang Bao observed Di Haotian's expression and asked. "It's true." "Why? I'm still so young. Isn't it too early for you to want me to have a child?" Tang Bao immediately pouted and said unhappily, "Let nature take its course." "I don't want to let nature take its course. No, you have to take precautions in the future. Otherwise, I won't let you touch me," Tang Bao said with a red face. Di Haotian pinches her forehead with dissatisfaction, and his angular face is aggressive. "You will realize it after you have a child." In the beginning, he did not want Tang Bao to have a child so soon. "It's just like she said." However, after this incident, he finally wanted Tang Bao to have a child. Only after the baby was born could Tang Bao stay by his side and not think about leaving. "My awareness is already very high now." Tang Bao tugged at Di Haotian's shirt pitifully. "Di Haotian, I'm really not fit to have a child right now. I won't even raise him. How about 2 years later? A year later? How about half a year later? Don't try to bargain with me. There's no room for negotiation, Di Haotian said firmly. He was traumatized by the 3-month deadline. Giving birth to a child could not be delayed. Di Haotian ignored Tang Bao's aggrieved expression. No, it's too hard for me to give birth to a child. So the baby wants to be comforted. No matter how you comfort me, I'll still feel wronged. You have to give birth to the child obediently. The entire tea is yours, Di Haotian said without hesitation. However, Tang Bao was stunned. Are you coaxing me? The entire tea? She could get the entire tea just by giving birth to a child? Oh my God, it couldn't be what she was thinking, right? However, Di Haotian just glanced at her indifferently, turned around, and left the room. Tang Bao was left sitting on the bed with a confused expression. Soon, Di Haotian returned to the room. A contract written in black and white was thrown in front of her. Tang Bao held it in her hand and read it from top to bottom. It was really a contract. It said that as long as she gave birth to a child, whether it was 1, 2, or a football team, the tea group would be hers. Tang Bao was so shocked that she forgot to turn her eyes. As long as you have tea, you can climb over my head. Now, do you still want to have a child? Yes. Sign it. Di Haotian handed her a pen. Tang Bao didn't say anything and signed her name at the bottom right of the contract. Money was nothing to her, but if she could climb over Di Haotian's head, she would have the final say in everything. This was too good. She could turn over a new leaf after giving birth to a child. It was so worth it. Di Haotian looked at Tang Bao, who had signed the contract. Her face was shining as she held the contract. His dark eyes couldn't help but have a smile and deep calculation. To be able to take out the contract so quickly, he had already prepared in advance. He knew that Tang Bao would not be willing to give birth to a child. As long as he wanted it, there was nothing he couldn't get. This little thing would never be able to escape from his grasp. At night, when Di Haotian went to bed, Tang Bao immediately said, "You're not allowed. We'll sleep separately." It was safer this way. It was better to stay away from Di Haotian. This person was too dangerous. If I want to, it's useless even if I sleep in the company. Di Haotian, who was lying down, said, "Come here obediently. Didn't you say that you'll allow me to walk out of the room? If I come again, I won't be able to walk out of the room, let alone go to the company." Di Haotian ignored Tang Bao's protest. "Do you want me to say it again?" Tang Bao had a look of forbearance on her face. She knew that Di Haotian's words were a sign of danger. She was very unconvinced, but she still braced herself and burrowed into Di Haotian's arms. Tang Bao's watery eyes were filled with surprise. She thought that Di Haotian would continue. She was already prepared to break down. The corners of Di Haotian's mouth curled up into a sexy and devilish smile. He tightened his arms and pressed the person in his arms against his chest. Then, he closed his eyes and let his heart be as still as water. Tang Bao really went to the company 3 days later. Chapter 282. Tang Bao rested for another day, so he went to the company on the 3rd day. "Io, what a rare guest!" Wan Malay teased when she saw the company's name, Tang Bao. Tang Bao's little face blushed. "Yes, a rare guest. Do you welcome me?" Tang Bao glanced at her. "Of course, you're welcome. If I knew you were coming to the company today, I would have bought you a bouquet of flowers," Wan Malay said, as if it was true. "How's the company recently?" Tang Bao sat down on the chair. "Everything is normal. Don't worry, even if you rest at home for another half a month, nothing will happen to the company." Wan Malay leaned in front of the desk. "Tell me, is it your wedding night with the young master?" "How did you know?" Tang Bao was stunned. "Of course I know. Who am I? I'm the person closest to you. If I can't even see this, how can we be friends?" "Don't do it," Wan Malay said with a wretched expression. Tang Bao felt that his occasional wretchedness was led astray by Wan Malay. "That afternoon, after I went to eat, You went to look for the young master, right? What made you so self-aware and so proactive? How did you know? Tang Bao was really curious. He always felt that Wan Malay was a gossip expert in the company. Because the news of you going to tea to look for the young master has already spread to our company. What? Tang Bao was extremely surprised. I was outside, but I didn't go in? What kind of place is tea? What could possibly escape their discerning eyes? Before you go in, you can pass by tea group's entrance and they can see you. Gossipers are everywhere. Wan Malay held her face with both hands, her eyes full of stars. The young master really loves you. No matter what you do to him, no matter how deep you hurt him, he won't let go of your hand. Look at you resting at home for half a month. It's simply unimaginable. Tang Bao looked at Wan Malay and said, I suspect that you've had many boyfriends behind my back. No. I don't have a single boyfriend. I see one. At this moment, Tang Bao's phone screen lit up. She looked at it. It was a message from Master. When Van Malay's head came round, she immediately turned her back to her, so that she might not be seen. After opening it, Tang Bao's face turned green. T's conference room. The higher-ups. Di Haotian sat in the seat of the leader. He was high and mighty, cold and stern. Occasionally, he glanced at the higher-ups. Occasionally, he looked Malay's Wen Tang of his eyes, Tang. The hand under the table was holding a phone and sending a message. The others were completely unaware and thought that it was just a look. It was because he was dissatisfied with all the higher-up. Therefore, this meeting was very scary. However, they did not know that the person in charge was absent-minded. He was chatting with his wife about topics that were not suitable for children. Tang Bao threw her phone on the desk and leaned on the table, looking lifeless. What's wrong? You were in a good mood just now. Why are you like this in the blink of an eye? Are you angry with the young master? No. Tang Bao did not dare to be angry with Di Haotian. If she was angry, she did not know what would happen to her. Walking out of the office, Tang Bao sauntered to the door of Zhou Zhishan's office. After thinking for a while, she pushed the door open and entered. In the company, only Tang Bao would enter Zhou Zhishan's office without knocking. Zhou Zhishan, who was dealing with work, was stunned. Then, he looked up and saw Tang Bao sauntering in with her hands in her trouser pocket. President Tang. Zhou Zhishan immediately stood up. Tang Bao sat down on the sofa and crossed her slender leg. You seem to be quite busy. Am I disturbing you? Not at all. As the mainstay of the company, Vice President Zhou is actually not busy? It's unbelievable, Tang Bao said with deep emotion. Zhou Zhishan sat down on the sofa opposite him. He looked at the leisurely Tang Bao. He felt that after seeing Tang Bao for half a month, he found that she was a little different. It seemed that she had reconciled with the young master. The key was that during the meeting at tea in the morning, he clearly felt that the young master was in a different mood. Although on the surface she looked expressionless and cold. But that feeling could not be wrong. He could even feel that the young master was in a good mood. Why are you only staring at me? There's no flour on my face. No, I just feel that President Tang is in a good mood. There's nothing wrong with it. My mood has always been like this. Although she said that, Tang Bao thought in her heart, did she really seem to be in a good mood? She must not let anyone see that something was wrong. By the way, if your ex-wife were to return to the entertainment industry, would you be willing? Tang Bao suddenly asked. This is her business. It has nothing to do with me. I've already given you a chance. I won't ask this again next time. Think carefully. Tang Bao looked at Zhou Zhishan's expression. After a while, she stood up. She was ready to leave. Just as she was about to reach the office door, Zhou Zhishan said, that matter was Yu Lianlian's fault. If President Tang can forgive her, that would be great. Zhou Zhishan, it seems that you still care about her? Previously, you said with a cold face that you wouldn't remarry her. I think it's only a matter of time, right? Tang Bao said with a smile on her face and left just like that. Chapter 283. Tang Bao was playing games at her desk and waiting for lunch. Then the phone on the desk rang. Tang Bao looked at it. Why was it Di Haotian again? Wasn't he calling a little too frequently? He called several times in the morning. It was not like this in the past. She picked up the phone. Hello? What are you doing? A deep, magnetic voice came over, bringing with it a unique sense of intimidation. Yes. Playing games. Bingo. Tang Bao was speechless. Why did he ask if he knew what she was doing? I'm coming over to take you to lunch, Di Haotian said. Aren't you busy? He had not entered tea for half a month. He should at least be busy on his first day. You don't need to eat because you're busy? My wife has to eat her fill. Tang Bao blushed. She felt a warm current in her heart. She heard the sound of the phone being hung up. She quickly threw the phone on the desk. It was as if it was a piece of red-hot iron. Tang Bao held her face in her hands. It was burning. She was done for. Wan Malay, who had finished her work and was preparing for lunch, walked to Tang Bao's office. She asked, What's with that expression? I know you're cute. Don't squeeze your face. There's no benefit in acting cute in front of me. Tang Bao looked at her from the corner of his eyes. Wan Malay ignored him and asked, What do you want to eat for lunch? It's my treat. Thank you for your hard work for half a month. Don't mention half a month to me. Tang Bao knew what Wan Malay meant and was angry. Okay. I won't mention it. Really. Tell me, what do you want to eat? Tang Bao looked a little uncomfortable. Di Haotian is coming over now. Take me out to eat. Alright, just treat what I said as a fart. I'm leaving. Wan Malay waved her hand and left the office. Di Haotian came quickly. He arrived about 10 minutes after Wan Malay left. She went straight into her office. When Tang Bao saw the tall and strong figure, he was stunned. Tell me, I'll go downstairs. Hungry? I'm not hungry. Tang Bao did not stand up. He was still playing the game in his hand. She frowned and looked like she was in a dilemma. Di Haotian walked over and stood beside her, watching her operate the game. He was beaten to a pulp on the screen. We lost again. Tang Bao howled in anger. Let me. Di Haotian began to unbutton his cufflinks. Do you know how to do it? Although Tang Bao asked doubtfully, he still stood up. I've been fighting for the whole morning, and I still haven't been able to defeat him. The opponent is a god, he's really strong. Di Haotian shot a cold glance at Tang Bao. Tang Bao's neck shrank back. Was that a compliment? He was powerful to begin with. He couldn't even tell her the truth. I'll help you bully him back. Di Haotian sat down on the chair. Tang Bao stood beside Di Haotian and explained to him how to play and how to upgrade his equipment. After that, she could only watch. She realized that Di Haotian was really an all-rounder. Not only was he the leader of T, but he could also play games. He was even better than her, an experienced player. His fingers were slender, strong, and very agile. It was like watching a god play games. Tang Bao's heart pounded. I won. Tang Bao jumped up and down happily. Di Haotian sat on the chair and turned to look at the happy Tang Bao. He smiled and asked, Who's the best? You're the best. Who? Tang Bao was stunned and then blushed. Before he could say anything, he took a few steps back and said, You're the best. Di Haotian was a dangerous person. She was afraid that he would attack her. Remember, you're the best, Di Haotian said calmly as he buttoned his sleeves. Actually, you don't have to, Tang Bao muttered softly. Louder. Di Haotian of course heard her. He just wanted to see how brave she was. Did I say anything? I didn't say anything. Tang Bao's small body took 2 more steps back. Then do you think that I can't catch you if you stay far away from me? Di Haotian asked. Tang Bao, who had been seen through, blushed. When she saw Di Haotian stand up, his tall figure suddenly pressed down on her fragile little heart. She stood there and did not dare to move. She looked at the dangerous person warily. As he got closer and closer, Tang Bao nervously closed her eyes. Let's eat. Di Haotian walked past Tang Bao. When Tang Bao opened her eyes, Di Haotian had already walked out of the door. So he's not doing anything, right? That's great. Tang Bao felt relieved and quickly followed him. Then, the two of them went downstairs together and got into the car. Along the way, Tang Bao thought that Di Haotian was quite well behaved and did not do anything to her. However, when they arrived at the restaurant, the door of the private room was pushed open. As soon as Tang Bao raised her leg, Di Haotian, who was standing behind her, pushed her in directly. Then, the door of the private room was slammed shut with a bang that shocked her heart. Di Haotian, why are you pushing? Tang Bao did not know what was going on. Before she could react, she was picked up. Chapter 284. When the dishes were served, they were all Tang Bao's favorites. She was quite frightened, so she had to use delicious food to calm her nerves and focus on the food. Sure enough, she was the happiest when she was eating delicious food. Tang Bao was focused. When the atmosphere became serious, Tang Bao thought of something and said to Di Haotian while eating, "Can you forget about Yu Lianlian? It's not easy for her to get to where she is today. Moreover, I'm fine. She didn't do it on purpose. Is that okay?" Di Haotian's eyes darkened. "It depends on my mood." Tang Bao entered the office alone and saw Wan Malay holding her phone. He immediately leaned over. "I'll stay at your house tonight." "Huh. You have to do it even if you can't." Tang Bao didn't care. Wan Malay thought of something and immediately became excited. "Is it because of the young master? Did he scare you away?" "Of course not. I quarreled with him," Tang Bao said without blushing. "What? Quarreled again? Weren't the two of them having a meal together?" "Humph, he was having a meal, but he kept staring at a little beauty and didn't care about my feelings at all," Tang Bao said angrily. "It can't be, right? Isn't it always the young master who has a cold face when others stare at him? Why is it the other way around? It's hard to imagine." Wan Malay couldn't imagine that scene. Even if the young master knew that Tang Bao and Di Junbai did that kind of thing, he would forgive them. Why would he suddenly stare at others? It was too unrealistic. "You're my only friend. If you don't care when I'm wronged, then you're too bad, understand?" Tang Bao lectured her very seriously. Wan Malay was dumbfounded. She didn't seem to have said anything. Everything was said by Tang Bao, right? Get off work early today. Go shopping, eat, and then go home to your rented house. After Tang Bao finished speaking, he stood up. Then, he went to the bathroom. Make a phone call in the cubicle. Di Haotian, I'll go shopping and have a meal with Wan Malay in the afternoon, and then go back to the castle, okay? Trying to run? How is that possible? What are you thinking? None at all. Besides, it's not like I can escape from your grasp, Tang Bao said as he tried to calm his heart that was beating wildly when he was lying. It's good that you know. So, it's settled then? Tang Bao hung up the phone after he finished speaking. He was afraid that Di Haotian would object. After finishing the call, Tang Bao walked out of the cubicle. He was so frightened by the figure standing outside the cubicle that he took a few steps back. "Oh my God!" Wan Malay crossed her arms and sneered. "Is this what you mean by quarreling with the young master?" "This?" Tang Bao's eyes darted around. "When the time comes, if the young master makes it impossible for me to live in D City, Tang Bao, it'll be your credit. You're exaggerating. With me around, he won't dare to do it," Tang Bao assured her. "Are you still going to sleep at my place tonight?" Wan Malay asked. "Yes. But didn't you just say that you're going shopping and eating? You didn't say that you're staying at my place?" It was obvious that Wan Malay had heard every word of Tang Bao's call. "You don't understand. If I say that I'm not going back, Di Haotian will definitely come and catch me. If I tell him after I go to your house, he won't catch me." "Are you sure?" Wan Malay expressed her doubts. "When the time comes, I'll say that you're afraid at night and let me sleep with you for a night." Tang Bao had an expression that said, "I've already thought about it." The two of them left the company early. They went shopping first. Wan Malay was absent-minded. It was the same when they were eating. Looking at Tang Bao eating without a care in the world, she said, "You'd better go back. When I think about the young emperor's angry face, I can't even eat." "If you can't eat, give it all to me," Tang Bao said without raising his head. He had made up his mind not to go back. "After eating, we'll buy some snacks and go back. Watching TV while eating snacks is the most beautiful thing in the world." Tang Bao said, "Actually, you're nervous too, right? Is that possible?" Tang Bao ate with a sullen face. "Because you're in a hurry. You're afraid that the young emperor will catch you halfway. Is this the first time you know what kind of person I am? I'm not afraid of anything." Tang Bao almost raised his hand and said, "I used to believe that, but I don't believe it now." Wan Malay said calmly, "Why? You're not afraid of anything, except for the young emperor." "Wan Malay, you're destroying my prestige." Tang Bao was unhappy. "Just take me in for one night, just one night." Tang Bao raised his thin index finger. Just one night was enough. He really just wanted to hide for a while. He had a home but couldn't go back. Was there anyone more miserable than him? Chapter 285. Wan Malay leaned over and asked in a low voice, "Is the young master really that powerful? What does it have to do with you? Don't stay at my place anymore." Wan Malay almost slammed the table. "I'll stay." In the end, Tang Bao still went to Wan Malay's rented house shamelessly. "It's so comfortable." Tang Bao fell on the sofa. "F***ck, change my shoes." Wan Malay roared. I'm sorry." Tang Bao got up and changed his shoes. However, he was cursing in his heart. After Tang Bao changed his shoes, he couldn't relax immediately. Tang Bao called Di Haotian in time. "Di Haotian, Wan Malay said that she's afraid of sleeping alone at night and asked me to accompany her for one night. Just one night. I'll go back tomorrow. You know, she's timid. As her only friend, I can't not accompany her, right? You feel bad about it, don't you? Di Haotian, are you listening?" She said a lot. Shouldn't he at least give her a response? However, the other party's silence sent a chill down Tang Bao's spine. It was as if Di Haotian's chill could be felt through the phone. It made her especially terrified. After waiting for a long time, she heard Di Haotian's deep and unfathomable voice. "Got it." By then, after Tang Bao ended the call, he was still in a daze in disbelief. Di Haotian agreed so easily? He forgave her for standing him up so easily? It really didn't seem like it. She thought that Di Haotian would threaten her and say something scary. Who knew that he didn't say anything? It was unbelievable. Could it be that Di Haotian was enlightened? It must be so. How was it? Will the young master get angry and ask you to go back? Wan Malay asked as she looked at Tang Bao, who walked out of the balcony with a complicated expression. "No," he agreed, Tang Bao said. "Just as you wish. Yeah. I'm free." Tang Bao happily plopped down on the sofa. She thought of something and said, "Wan Malay, why don't you look for a bigger house? Can you reserve a room for me? I'll share it with you. What do you think?" "I'm not willing." "Why?" "I keep feeling that something is wrong." "What's wrong?" Tang Bao asked. "With the young master's personality, would he really let you live outside?" Wan Malay voiced his doubts. In fact, Tang Bao also found it strange. But Di Haotian did say that just now. Maybe he thinks that one night is fine? Tang Bao felt that there was nothing wrong with what he said. That was probably the case. The two of them soon stopped discussing this issue. Play when you need to, eat when you need to. Just as the two of them were discussing which star was in the movie, there was a knock on the door. Wan Malay was stunned. "Who's looking for me?" "My neighbor." Tang Bao stared at the TV and said without turning his head. Wan Malay stood up and went to open the door. Standing in front of the door, she first looked through the peephole, and then her expression froze. She turned around and looked at Tang Bao, who was still staring at the TV. She wasn't prepared to tell her. But she wasn't prepared to open the door either. She returned to the sofa and sat down. "Who is it?" Tang Bao asked. "My neighbor. Why don't I hear you open the door?" Tang Bao found it strange. "It's open? Didn't you hear it?" Tang Bao shook his head. "Maybe I was too focused on the TV and didn't hear it." Before he could finish speaking, there was another knock on the door. "Another neighbor?" Tang Bao asked. "It must be. A very annoying neighbor. Don't worry about it." Wan Malay waved her hand, looking annoyed. Tang Bao felt that Wan Malay was strange. But he didn't ask much. He continued to stuff food into his mouth and watch TV. Then, there was another knock on the door. Still, no one answered. He-ju, who was standing outside the door, heard the sound of the TV inside. Just now, someone had clearly come to open the door, but when they saw her outside, they deliberately didn't open it. "If you don't open the door, I'll kick it." The soundproofing in the house was not good. He-ju's voice crept in through the crack of the door. It was very clear. Tang Bao recognized who it was. Wan Malay was worried that her poor door would really be kicked, so she immediately jumped up to open the door. As soon as the door opened, she questioned, "Why did you kick my door? How did I offend you?" "You won't open it," He-ju said coldly. "I didn't hear anyone knocking on the door. Of course, I won't open it." Wan Malay played dumb. "I heard that you were afraid to sleep alone at night. The young master asked me to guard you and let the young madam go back to the castle," He-ju said. Wan Malay turned around and looked at the sofa. It was empty. Tang Bao immediately hid behind the sofa when he heard He-ju's voice outside. She felt that He-ju was here to take her back. In fact, that was true. But He-ju wanted to guard Wan Malay? This was really romantic? Wan Malay walked to the sofa and directly pulled Tang Bao out. "Why are you pulling me out?" Tang Bao protested. At this time, Wan Malay didn't care about their friendship anymore. She pulled Tang Bao in front of He-ju and said, "I'll give you her, but you don't have to guard me anymore." "Wan Malay, what do you mean? Did I say I'm going back?" Tang Bao was extremely shocked. "Do you think you have a choice?" Wan Malay asked. He-ju's people were already here. Would Di Haotian be far away? However, Tang Bao was unwilling and stubborn. "Why don't I have a choice? I live here." "Young madam, the young master is in the car," He-ju said. Tang Bao's face stiffened. Her thin fingers pointed outside. "Outside? Yes. So? Do you have a choice? I think you'd better go down obediently. Otherwise, I'll skin you alive." Wan Malay didn't think that she was scaring her. It was very likely. Tang Bao's little heart trembled. She weighed her options, then lowered her head and went back to take her bag and phone. She lowered her head and walked past Wan Malay and He-ju and left. Looking at Tang Bao walking away, Wan Malay saw that He-ju was still standing upright outside the door. She asked curiously, "Why aren't you leaving?" "I just said that I'll watch over you," He-ju said again patiently. "I don't need it. Didn't you say that you can't sleep at night because you're afraid?" "That's Tang Bao, not me," Wan Malay corrected. After saying that, He-ju still stood there and didn't leave. "Why aren't you leaving? This is the young master's order." Wan Malay had never seen such a stubborn person. "I don't need it. Didn't you hear me? I've never been afraid to sleep at night." He-ju turned his back and turned a deaf ear. "If you want to stand, then stand. I'm going to sleep." Wan Malay closed the door directly. Then, she took her pajamas and went to take a shower. Chapter 286. The half-bright, half-dark light was like a beast hibernating in the dark night. It was waiting for its prey to come forward and take it down without warning. The bodyguard opened the car door, and Tang Bao saw the dark figure sitting inside. She couldn't ignore it even from a distance. Tang Bao walked up to the car slowly. Di Haotian's chiseled face was extremely cold and hard. His sharp black eyes were looking at her, as calm as a cold lake. Di Haotian, why are you here? Didn't I say that I'm here to accompany Wan Malay? Did you agree? Tang Bao said carefully with a smile after getting into the car. Since she's afraid at night, let He Ju guard her. This way, you don't have to stay here. Is there a problem? Di Haotian stared at her with his evil eyes. There was a sense of danger in them. Tang Bao didn't dare to say no. She smiled and said, No problem, no problem. Di Haotian didn't say anything. His sharp eyes were locked on Tang Bao. Tang Bao's small body shrank by the car door. She felt that she had nowhere to escape to. Wan Malay finished showering and walked to the door. Through the peephole, she saw that the person outside was still there. She didn't believe that this person could stand here for the whole night. Wan Malay went back to her room. After Tang Bao returned to the castle, she went straight to her room. Anyway, the pressure in the car made her suffocate. She was worried the whole way. She didn't know that she would be treated like this when she came back. Anyway, she was well behaved all the way back to her room. Even his breathing seemed to be stable. She was afraid that she would light a fuse. Tang Bao was about to go to bed. Di Haotian's voice was heard. You're not showering? I'm not showering today. Tang Bao felt that Di Haotian really liked to be clean. He showered every day, from head to toe, as if there was something dirty on his body. Don't sleep if you don't shower. Di Haotian frowned. Then you wash first. Tang Bao knew that she could not escape from Di Haotian's domineering attitude. Therefore, he could only obediently accept his fate. Di Haotian glanced at her coldly. Tang Bao's little heart immediately activated its defensive mechanism, and his eyes flickered. Actually, I've already showered when I was at Wan Malay's place. Really? Di Haotian asked faintly. Tang Bao felt that there was hope to fool Di Haotian, so he immediately said as if it was true, I really washed it. I still smell like shower gel. Is that so? Di Haotian approached Tang Bao. Tang Bao immediately panicked. Didn't you say it smelled like shower gel? Are you lying? Di Haotian narrowed his sharp eyes and approached her. It's fine as long as I say yes, right? Do you not trust me? Di Haotian directly pulled her into his arms. Tang Bao staggered. She was furious. Was there anything Di Haotian couldn't do? Ah, bastard, bastard, bastard. The oxygen was getting thinner and thinner. Tang Bao could not stand still, and her whole body swayed slightly. Just as she was about to fall, Di Haotian directly picked her up by the waist. He carried her into the bathroom in a princess carry. The shower had already been turned on, and the bathroom was filled with mist, just like a painting. After entering the bathroom, Tang Bao was drenched in hot water, and her whole body was completely awake. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian's chiseled face with her heart beating like a drum. He was handsome and devilishly handsome. Have you forgotten what you said during the day? Di Haotian's voice was low and hoarse, and it reverberated in the room through the mist. Tang Bao gulped. Did I? When? Do you need me to remind you? No. Tang Bao laughed dryly. Tang Bao felt that she was overestimating herself, but she forced herself to hold on. Do you still need to ask? Di Haotian's deep eyes stared at Tang Bao, who had no way out. He liked to see her panicking because of him. She was obviously very nervous, but she forced herself to hold on. But I still have one more thing. Tang Bao felt that her mind was in a mess, and it was not easy for her to squeeze out a topic. Di Haotian reached out and squeezed her hands. It's about what I told you about Yu Lianlian. You have to let others go. Satisfy me, Di Haotian said very easily. He seemed very relaxed. But for Tang Bao it was too unacceptable. Smoke filled the bathroom. Chapter 287. There were also all the clothes that were thrown on the ground. They were soaked through and no one cared about them anymore. After Tang Bao washed up, she was carried out of the bathroom and placed on the bed. When she was in the bathroom, Tang Bao was suffocated by the hot air inside. She was so hot that she felt dizzy. After she was placed on the bed, She felt the slightly cool air, and became slightly conscious. She felt that she was on the bed, and was even being hugged from behind. She could not help but frown. "Di Haotian, get me a glass of hot water." Tang Bao's throat was slightly hoarse. Di Haotian held her hands tightly and said in a low voice, "No need." Tang Bao turned her head in shock and stared at Di Haotian. "Are you still angry? Don't you feel it?" Every corner of Tang Bao's face showed great forbearance. She then shouted, "If you're angry, then be angry." After shouting, she wanted to run away. However, she could not break free at all. "Di Haotian, let go of me." Tang Bao tried to break free with her hands, but she could not. "Don't you still have strength?" Tang Bao's whole body stiffened. Her face was red with anger. "How can I not have any strength at all?" "I'll give you a day off tomorrow," Di Haotian suddenly said. "Why are you giving me a day off?" Tang Bao did not understand the meaning behind Di Haotian's word. "Because you'll be very tired tomorrow." Tang Bao felt that she could not use force, so she changed her strategy and admitted defeat. "Di Haotian, I beg you, you can't do this to me. Otherwise, I won't have to do anything. I can only do this every day. You can't marry a wife who does nothing, right?" "How can that be? You have the greatest credit. You don't have to do anything. It's better than doing anything. But I feel uneasy in my heart. You know, I used to have a dream to be a perfect housewife." Tang Bao's heart was filled with tears. "What housewife? And it was perfect." "Raise your head." Di Haotian hooked Tang Bao's chin with his hand. Tang Baozhen raised her head and looked at the paper with the 3 obediences and 4 virtues on the wall. "What did you see?" "I'm blind. I can't see." Yes, Tang Bao wished that he was blind. What Di Haotian meant couldn't have been clearer. Tang Bao still wants to beg for mercy. Di Haotian breathed heavily. "What did you call me?" Wan Malay woke up in the middle of the night. He thought of Hiju, who was still standing at the door, and thought that the person should have left. He couldn't possibly be standing there all the time, right? Although he thought so, he still got up from the bed. He turned on the lights in the living room. She walked to the door and looked through the peephole. OF*CK. It was still there. Does this person not need to sleep? Did he really want to stand all night? Wan Malay felt very confused. This was the first time she encountered such a situation. This kind of person. Wan Malay opened the door and was about to speak when she found Hiju leaning against the wall with his arms crossed and his eyes closed. Wan Malay moved her face closer. She was shocked. This person can fall asleep standing up? He's so powerful. Just when she wanted to poke him with her finger to see if he would fall, his eyes opened. Wan Marai sucked in a breath of cold air and immediately took a step back. "What do you want?" Hiju turned to look at her. He didn't look sleepy, as if he wasn't asleep at all. "You woke up in fright? So, you really don't dare to sleep alone at night?" "How can I sleep when you keep standing outside my door? Let me tell you, I've never woken up in the middle of the night, ever since you stood outside my door." Wan Malay said agitatedly and asked, "Are you leaving?" Hiju didn't say anything. "Are you really going to stand here all night?" Hiju still didn't say anything. Wan Malay was speechless. "How about this? Don't stand outside, you can sleep on the sofa in my living room." Before she could finish, Hiju turned and walked into the living room. Wan Malay stared at the person who walked in. She hadn't finished her sentence? This person was too rude. Was he waiting for her to say that? Wan Malay closed the door and walked forward with a sneer. "Do you want to take a shower while you're at it?" Hiju looked back at her. "What do you want to do?" Wan Malay couldn't believe Hiju's eyes. She was so angry that she laughed. "What do you think I'll do to you? Do you think I'll humiliate you? Let me tell you, I have someone I like. Don't think too much, okay?" After saying that, she rolled her eyes at him. She turned back to the room and slammed the door. Wan Malay thought that this person was really interesting. She let him in because she didn't want to sleep thinking that there was someone standing outside. Anyone would feel uncomfortable, right? When Tang Bao woke up, it was almost noon. As soon as she woke up, she regained her senses. She was the only one on the bed. She didn't know when Di Haotian got up. She didn't know at all. She was really too tired. Tang Bao couldn't imagine how Di Haotian survived the first 3 months of his marriage. It was amazing. Tang Bao supported herself and sat up. She was so sore that she grimaced. Especially her hand. Tang Bao looked up and saw the 3 obedience and 4 virtues on the wall. It was really eye-catching. The 3 obedience and 4 virtues were all on the wall. It was even scarier than the school rules in high school. The more Tang Bao looked at it, the angrier she became. She got up and reached out to tear the 3 obedience and 4 virtues down. However, just as her hand touched the 3 obedience and 4 virtues, the air surged. Di Haotian's tall figure appeared in the bedroom and looked at her sharply. Tang Bao's hand froze there. Didn't you go to tea? Why don't you tear it? Di Haotian leaned lazily against the door and asked expressionlessly. What if I tear it? Then do you like weak hands or weak legs? Di Haotian asked calmly. Chapter 288. A soft hand is a punishment. I'm sure you know what it means to have soft legs. His calm tone was filled with endless danger. Tang Bao's hand froze in the air. Then, she touched the 3 obedience and 4 virtues and said with a smile, I didn't want to tear it. I was just worried that it would fall, so I wanted to stick it closer. Don't worry. Even if it falls, it's your responsibility. You have to bear the consequences. Di Haotian continued to look at her indifferently. Could Tang Bao not understand Di Haotian's words? She didn't want to discuss this topic with him anymore. If they continued to discuss it, she might not go to the company for 3 days. Tang Bao sat down. She felt that her whole body was weak after kneeling for a while. And the person who made her so miserable was the person in front of her. She couldn't do anything to him. Why didn't you go to tea? Aren't you going? Tang Bao asked. I'll go in the afternoon. Tang Bao wanted to sleep after lunch. She didn't sleep much the whole night. She was especially sleepy now. Di Haotian looked at Tang Bao from top to bottom with a sense of oppression. Tang Bao looked at him with a lack of oxygen in her head. She thought to herself, so be it. I'm so tired and sleepy. I won't miss you. Tang Bao closed her eyes and fell asleep. She didn't know when Di Haotian left the room. She was so sleepy that she couldn't even open her eyes. When Tang Bao woke up, it was almost 4 o'clock. She yawned and turned over. Her body was much better than it was in the morning. She couldn't fall asleep even if she lay down. Tang Bao got out of bed. Her feet were still a little light when she landed. Di Haotian was simply crazy. Tang Bao felt that it was fortunate that her physical fitness was not bad. However, she also realized that Di Haotian would be in a good mood and feel refreshed. Would she have to live like this every day in the future? Tang Bao felt that life was gloomy just thinking about it. No, it was darkness. When Di Haotian looked at her, there was only darkness in her eyes. Tang Bao took the phone and saw that there were missed calls from Wan Malay. She didn't hear it. Was she sleeping too soundly? Just as he was thinking about this, a message came in. Wan Malay, what are you busy with? You didn't even return my calls? Tang Bao wondered why there was no sound. When he looked at his phone again, he saw that it was on silent mode. She never knew how to mute her phone. No matter how he thought about it, it was probably Di Haotian's handiwork. So he was worried that she would be disturbed? Tang Bao had a sweet smile on her face. Tang Bao called Wan Malay. Wan Malay's voice came through the phone. What are you busy with? Are you not coming to the company again today? I'm very busy. I won't be going today. Are you really busy or can't get out of bed? Wan Malay mocked. What? Why are you in such a hurry to find me? Tang Bao wouldn't tell her that he was grounded by Di Haotian. It was too embarrassing. After all, she used to be someone that most people in school didn't dare to provoke. When it came to Di Haotian, Tang Bao almost forgot his former glory. Let me tell you, he Ju is too scary. He was at my place yesterday. What? Did he make a move on you? No way. Tang Bao interrupted Wan Malay anxiously. He was quite shocked. Can you let me finish? Wan Malay asked in despair. Go on, go on. Tang Bao looked at the sky. Didn't he say yesterday that he was ordered by the young master to stand at my place all the time? He did say that. Tang Bao was still there at that time. He really stood at my door all the time. Hey, don't you think it's very scary? Wan Malay asked. It seems a little. What happened after that? Based on her understanding of Wan Malay, things wouldn't be so simple. Then I let him go into the room to sleep. You guys slept together? Did you give him that pillow of mine, Vamalay? No, you have to buy me another one. I don't like other people's smell on my pillow. Tang Bao said righteously. Can't you let me finish my sentence? Go on, go on. Tang Bao lowered his head and scratched his head with his fingers. I let him sleep on the sofa in the room. Otherwise, I would feel even weirder if I let him stand outside all the time while I sleep inside. If it were you, you would feel weird too. I think it's okay. There are servants on duty not far from Di Haotian's door. It doesn't feel too awkward. Tang Bao thought about it and said, How can it be the same? I think it's good like this. It's like being your escort. It gives you a sense of security. I'll give it to you. You go and tell Di Haotian. Tang Bao thought quickly. Wan Malay didn't say anything. She wouldn't dare to say such a thing if she didn't want her life. You're in a hurry to find me because of this? Tang Bao asked. I'm thinking, he Ju won't come again tonight, right? Can you tell the young master not to let him come? If he comes, I'll be scared to sleep alone at night. Wan Malay wanted to cry but had no tears. Don't worry about that. I'm confident in he Ju's character. Tang Bao said solemnly. Who asked you about his character? I don't want someone standing outside the door. Then let him sleep in the room, just like last night. Tang Bao didn't think it was a problem. Tang Bao, are you looking for a beating? Ha 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 ha. Tang Bao's laughter could be heard. Wan Malay's face darkened. Let me tell you, I have someone I like. I don't want others to misunderstand. If that happens, I'll have even less hope. Are you talking about Gu Linshan? Yes. Tang Bao was very sad. What was so good about Gu Linshan? He had a gloomy aura that made people want to stay as far away from him as possible. However, Wan Malay liked this kind of smell. It really made people anxious. At the dinner table, Tang Bao was eating when his phone rang. Before Di Haotian came back, she was playing with her phone and watching TV in the living room. Then, she directly put her phone on her and went to eat. Tang Bao took out his phone and saw the number on it. His face froze and he immediately rejected it. Then, he put his phone back into his pocket. He suppressed his panic and ate. His head kept lowered, as if he wanted to bury it in the bowl. Di Haotian looked at him coldly. Tang Bao instantly felt a murderous chill. He raised his little eyes slightly, and that sharp gaze made her little heart tremble. His little mouth was tightly pursed. Who called? Chapter 289. Di Haotian's eyes were cold and sharp. Did you look for him? No. Absolutely not. Why would I look for him? Even if he deliberately distorted that incident, I didn't question him, really. Tang Bao used to be overjoyed when she heard Di Junbai's name. But now, when she heard it, she panicked all over. Because if Di Haotian became scary, then she would panic. She didn't even dare to mention Di Haotian's name in front of him now. She used to call him Brother Junbai, then Di Junbai, and now your little brother. What else could she do? She was also very pitiful, okay? However, there was something even more terrifying. Just as Tang Bao was trying to make Di Haotian believe her, her phone rang again. She wanted to smash the phone. Give it to me. Di Haotian's voice was deep. The air was so intimidating that it surged. When Tang Bao saw that the caller ID was still Di Junbai, she hurriedly threw the phone to Di Haotian to stay away from trouble. However, when she saw Di Haotian pick up the call directly, her watery eyes suddenly widened. What was going on? Why did he pick up the call? She didn't give him the phone for him to pick up? Di Haotian seemed to have sensed Tang Bao's resentment and shot a sharp look at her. Tang Bao curled into a ball and immediately became listless. Tang Bao, you didn't pick up my call just now. Are you still angry with me? I'm very sorry about what happened last time. I shouldn't have done that and caused such a big misunderstanding between you and my brother. Actually, I did that because I wanted you to be happy in the future. I just wanted to test how much my brother cares about you. If he really doesn't want you because of an accident, then we don't need such a marriage. Of course, I also have my own selfish motives. If he doesn't want you, I won't give up on you. These were my heartfelt words as well. But now, I don't need to be selfish anymore. It's been proven that my brother cares a lot about you. I don't think I have any regrets anymore. Di Junbai said all the words in his heart in one breath. Di Haotian's face was cold and his dark eyes were gloomy. I've heard it. You don't need to call her anymore. With that, Di Haotian hung up the phone. He tossed his phone aside. Tang Bao glanced at her phone but did not take the initiative to ask for it. She ate obediently as if she had been wronged. After Emperor Bai hung up the phone, he stood on the lawn and looked into the distance. His face was so calm that no one could tell what he was thinking. Sensing that someone was approaching from behind, his eyes narrowed slightly. Lan Wanru stepped forward and said, Bro, are you calling the Tang Bao? It's not very nice of you to eavesdrop on my phone like that, Di Junbai said. But his tone wasn't harsh. It was just a little reproachful. I didn't hear everything. This doesn't count as eavesdropping, right? Lan Wanru said with a smile. Then he asked, How are the Tang Bao and Brother Haotian now? Are they still in a cold war? Come to think of it, which man would allow his wife to do such a thing? Even if it was an accident, there would still be a knot in his heart. What if I say that the two of them have already buried the hatchet? Di Junbai asked. What? That's impossible. How could Brother Haotian be willing to tolerate such a thing? If you don't believe me, you can go and verify it. Since Di Junbai said so, it meant that he had given Lan Wanru a truthful answer. But how could Lan Wanru accept it? He simply couldn't believe it. That was Di Haotian, wasn't it? Whoever dared to betray him would not have a good ending. How could Di Haotian even tolerate Tang Bao's betrayal? Is there a misunderstanding somewhere? Didn't you and Tang Bao have a physical relationship? Brother Haotian clearly knows about it. How could he accept Tang Bao? Don't you think she's dirty? Lan Wanru said agitatedly. Is what you said true? Di Lingyue's shocked voice came over. Di Junbai and Lan Wanru were both stunned. Di Junbai immediately said, That's not true. Although I'm old, I'm not deaf. Tell me, what's going on? Di Lingyue asked Lan Wanru. Lan Wanru glanced at Di Junbai and felt that this matter couldn't be covered up at all. After a short pause, he said, Last time, I was imprisoned by Brother Haotian because of the gathering in the villa. Tang Bao and I had a physical relationship. Di Lingyue's expression changed and asked Di Junbai, Is this true? Don't ask about this matter. It's already over. Di Junbai said, What do you mean over? This matter is very serious. What is this called? Tang Bao is really shameless. She betrayed Haotian and still has the face to stay in the Di family? Di Lingyue said with an ugly expression. I think so too. Also, uncle, do you know? Brother Haotian actually accepted Tang Bao. I can't believe it, Lan Wanru said. Di Lingyue's expression was filled with anger as he turned and left. Why are you telling him all this? Di Junbai asked. Shouldn't I say it? How could the Di family keep a woman like Tang Bao? If outsiders knew, what would they think of the Di family? Di Junbai didn't say anything. He turned around and looked into the distance. There was a glow in his eyes that was no longer calm. After Tang Bao finished her meal, she wanted to go outside to play on the swing. Just as she walked out of the door, she heard two maids whispering. Young Madam and young Master Junbai already had such a thing going on, but young Master D is still willing to accept it. Doesn't he feel a thorn in his heart? You don't know this, right? This means that young Master D truly loves young Madam. Love surpasses everything. That's right. If he didn't love young Madam so much, he wouldn't accept it no matter what. The maid who was talking noticed the person standing behind her and her face immediately changed. She was so scared that her face turned pale. Then, her legs went weak and she knelt on the ground with a thud. Tang Bao thought to herself, I'm very dignified, aren't I? Scram! A low and cold voice sounded. Tang Bao was shocked. She turned around and saw Di Haotian standing behind her, looking at the maid with a dark expression. The maid was so scared that she immediately left. So, she was forced to use Di Haotian's power? She thought that she was so powerful that she would be able to intimidate the maid until her face turned pale. She had been happy for nothing. After the maid left, Tang Bao took a step forward and looked up at Di Haotian with a smile. She asked, Did you hear everything just now? Everyone thought that you could even tolerate being betrayed by your wife. Actually, they weren't the only ones who thought that way. Di Haotian, what are you thinking? You are very arrogant. Di Haotian narrowed his eyes and said evilly. Tang Bao immediately skipped a few steps away from him. She looked at him defensively. Chapter 290. When she thought about how everyone thought that Di Haotian's wife had betrayed him and was gossiping about it, she couldn't help but laugh in her heart. Di Haotian stretched out his arm and clasped it in front of his chest. Tang Bao was shocked and pouted in protest. Who asked you to be so beautiful? Di Haotian narrowed his sharp eyes and stared at her. Tang Bao understood what he meant and punched his broad shoulders. She didn't hit him hard because she didn't want to hurt her hands. I'm not talking about this. But if you don't like it, I'll go for plastic surgery. Then I'll have to go for plastic surgery too. Tang Bao's face turned red and she was dumbfounded. Was this person still human? Di Haotian actually thought of it. Indeed, the devil was the scariest. Sister-in-law, I've let you down. I don't know how to explain it to you and my brother. Di Lingyue started to cry before he even entered the house. Yu Songhuan, who was sitting on the sofa and drinking tea, couldn't help but frown. He looked at Di Lingyue who came in and asked, What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I know I'm losing my composure now, but I feel terrible. How did something like this happen to the Di family? Di Lingyue sat down on the sofa and felt heartache again. Yu Songhuan was stunned when he heard about the Di family. What happened to the Di family? Family scandal, I can't even say it. Di Lingyue lowered his head and looked like he couldn't accept it. Why did you come here if I didn't say it? Yu Songhuan asked him. She was also anxious. What happened to the Di family that made Di Lingyue come here to say it? Other than her son, she didn't care about anyone else. It's like this. Junbai was imprisoned by Haotian for no reason. I didn't understand what happened and only found out today that Tang Bao betrayed Haotian and had that thing with Junbai. I've let my brother down. I'm sorry, Haotian. Di Lingyue started to regret. What happened? Yu Songhuan didn't understand for a moment because it was too ridiculous. Last month, Tang Bao and Junbai, what did you say? Yu Songhuan stood up abruptly, his face ashen. Even the teacup in his hand fell to the ground. Bang! It was smashed into pieces. Sister-in-law, don't be agitated. Di Lingyue consoled her. Lingyue, you're already so old. Don't say things without evidence. If that really happened, how could Haotian treat her well? Yu Songhuan recalled that when he went to the castle a few days ago, Di Haotian said that he wanted to have a child with Tang Bao. Everything seemed to be fine. How could it be as bad as what Di Lingyue said? I can't believe it either. It was only later that I found out. It was true that June Bai had been imprisoned by the Hautian. If you don't believe it, you can check it out. Yu Songhuan looked at Di Lingyue with an ashen face. He couldn't say a word. If Di Lingyue was lying, it couldn't be investigated. But he was confident. I think you don't have to check it out. Just ask a servant in the castle and you'll know. Yu Songhuan fell onto the sofa. The servant standing behind her immediately supported her. Old madam, take care of yourself. What a misfortune. Yu Songhuan was furious. Yes, I didn't teach my son well and let this happen to them. So I came to confess to you as soon as I found out. Sister-in-law, calm down. It's my fault, Di Lingyue said. Yu Songhuan even turned her face majestically and looked at her. Didn't you come here just to make me angry? Sister-in-law, why would I? You can go. I'm tired. Yu Songhuan didn't want to talk to him. Then I'll go back first. Sister-in-law, take care of yourself. Di Lingyue stood up and left. Yu Songhuan supported his head with his hand. He felt a headache coming on. She was trying to convince herself to accept the Tang Bao. After all, if her son wanted it, she couldn't stop him. But what was going on now? Di Hautian didn't say anything and even treated the Tang Bao well. Was this what it meant to swallow the bitterness? How could she accept a daughter-in-law like the Tang Bao with such a bad character? Call Hautian, Yu Songhuan said. Yes. Sister-in-law Wang was about to go, but Yu Songhuan stopped her. Forget it. Don't call him. Di Hautian wanted to hide this matter. If she asked him personally, Di Hautian would definitely deny it. Look at how peaceful the world was now. Wasn't he just keeping this matter a secret? Yu Songhuan really hated the Tang Bao. If it wasn't for her, Di Hautian wouldn't have been humiliated like this. The more Yu Songhuan thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. Why was there a meeting so early in the morning? The key was that Tang Bao insisted on entering the meeting room because she wanted to be a leader in the company. Then, the meeting went on for 2 hours. Her body, which had been ravaged last night, felt like she was sitting on pins and needles after sitting for half an hour. She was really sitting on pins and needles. She sat until Tang Bao's face turned pale. Wan Milei leaned forward and asked in a low voice, "Do you want to end the meeting?" "No need." Tang Bao shook her head. Zhou Jisen looked at Tang Bao, who was sitting sideways in her chair, and didn't say anything. After the meeting, everyone left the meeting room. Oh my God! Tang Bao immediately stood up and rubbed her waist. Tang Bao. Wan Milei returned to the meeting room. Tang Bao was so scared that she removed her hand from her waist and looked at Wan Milei calmly. What? Aren't you feeling unwell? Why are you still here? Why do you care? Tang Bao said angrily. Seeing Wan Milei trying to hold back her laughter, she couldn't hold it in anymore. Laugh if you want to. Don't hold it in. No, I mean, why are you torturing yourself like this? No one forced you to come to the meeting room. Wan Milei tried to hold back her laughter. As the leader of the company, how can I not come? Am I that kind of person? Tang Bao asked. She thought for a moment. Is it time to eat? Wan Milei cursed in her heart. Damn, you came to the company just to wait for food. Is there a leader like you? I still have to organize the meeting minutes, Wan Milei said. How long will it take? About 10 minutes. Okay, I'll wait for you downstairs. She wanted to walk around. She pretended to walk normally and walked past Wan Milei out of the office. Wan Milei looked at Tang Bao's stiff posture and felt that she had had enough. So many people wanted to but didn't have the chance. Chapter 291. A luxurious black car stopped in front of her. Tang Bao was stunned for a moment and immediately turned around to leave. Without waiting for the bodyguards, Gu Linshan got out of the car. Tang Bao turned around and was scared out of her wits. She immediately ran away. Then, she realized that something was wrong. She should be running towards the company. Why did she run out instead? Could she outrun Gu Linshan's long legs? Not to mention, he still had his subordinates following him like a shadow. She was really running away in a panic. Gu Linshan grabbed Tang Bao. Ah! Tang Bao screamed and was pushed into the corridor next to the company. Tang Bao went in and wanted to run out, but she was blocked by Gu Linshan's body. Gu Linshan, get out of my way! Tang Bao wanted to get away, but Gu Linshan reached out and pushed her. Tang Bao did not have much strength in her body, so Gu Linshan did not use much strength. She could not stand it. She took a few steps back and pulled her arm. Gu Linshan sneered and approached her. You don't look well. Do you want me to take a look at you? Tang Bao panicked and stepped back. I'm fine. I don't need you to take a look at me. Really? I heard that your relationship with Di Haotian has improved tremendously while I was away. Tang Bao did not want to talk to her about her relationship with Di Haotian. Her relationship with Di Haotian had nothing to do with him. Tang Bao could not move forward, so she ran back. However, she was caught the moment she took a step. Gu Linshan, let go of me! Tang Bao was pushed against the wall and her back hurt. Gu Linshan looked at her and stopped her from moving. He asked coldly, why aren't you running anymore? Gu Linshan, don't mess around. Don't forget that you're friends with Di Haotian. Haven't you heard that you shouldn't flirt with your friend's wife? Tang Bao suppressed his panic and said, then do you know that I've already made up my mind to break up with Di Haotian for you? What did you say? Tang Bao could not believe what he had just heard. His petite face was filled with astonishment. Are you kidding me? Tell me, is it Di Haotian? Gu Linshan's eerie aura was completely unrestrained. Tang Bao had not recovered from the shock and was irritated by such a question. He pushed Gu Linshan hard. However, other than dissipating his strength, it didn't help him at all. Gu Linshan, calm down. I'm married. Don't you think you're too tasteless? Tang Bao was furious. Did God have to tease her like this? She had just dealt with Di Junbai, and now there was Gu Linshan. Moreover, it was obvious that Gu Linshan was much more troublesome and difficult to deal with than Di Junbai. You haven't answered my question. Gu Linshan's tone was forceful. Why should I answer your question? Who are you? It was as if a snake had coiled around her. Gu Linshan asked, I'll ask again. Is it Di Haotian? Tang Bao was furious. Aren't you asking nonsense? Who else could it be other than him? Do you like it? Gu Linshan asked again. Are you satisfied? Tang Bao was about to go crazy. Was he asking her to tell Gu Linshan about her sexual relationship with Di Haotian? But why couldn't she say it? Therefore, she blushed and said angrily, I like it very much. I'm very satisfied, okay? Gu Linshan, are you crazy? Her arm was about to be broken. It was definitely bruised. What did you say? I'm disgusted? Gu Linshan asked. Tang Bao looked at Gu Linshan in shock and wariness. Was this person going to do something terrible to her? God, someone come and strike him to death. Wait a minute. Gu Linshan, I didn't say that you're disgusting. I was just joking. How could I say that you're disgusting? Tang Bao quickly softened and smiled apologetically. Otherwise, if no one came to save her, wouldn't she have to save herself? Tang Bao suppressed the trembling of her body. Of course, this trembling was not from comfort, but from fear. But when did she have that intention? Don't twist my understanding, okay? Tang Bao suppressed her flustered emotions and reached out her small hand to gently pat Gu Linshan's shoulder. She said with a smile, It's broad daylight. If you want to think about it, it's not now, right? There's still a long way to go. Gu Linshan did not hide it. Tang Bao was dumbfounded. No matter how she comforted him, it did not work. Next time? I'm hungry now. Gu Linshan smiled. Tang Bao felt that he might as well not smile. It made her nervous. Don't worry. Even if you follow me, no one will find out. Tang Bao could only chuckle. She was speechless. At this moment, what are you doing? Tang Bao froze. She turned her head and saw Wan Malay not far away, looking at them in shock. At this moment, and Tang Bao's hand was on Gu Linshan's shoulder. No matter how she looked at it, It was obvious what was going on. Millet, it's not what you think. Tang Bao immediately retracted her hand and pushed Gu Linshan away forcefully. She ran in front of Wan Millet. Millet, don't misunderstand. Listen to me from the beginning to the end. Yes, tell her clearly when we started. Gu Linshan walked over and put his hand on Tang Bao's shoulder again. It was very intimate. It would only make Wan Millet misunderstand. Gu Linshan, are you crazy? Tang Bao shook his hand away. Millet, don't listen to his nonsense. You don't need to explain to me. That's your business. Besides, if you want to explain, you should explain to the young master. Wan Millet finished speaking and turned to leave. Millet. Tang Bao called out to her. Wan Millet ignored her and ran away. Tang Bao closed her eyes. She hurt Wan Millet's heart, and she also felt very bad. And all of this was thanks to Gu Linshan, that bastard. Since you're hungry, go and eat something. Let's go. Gu Linshan made a mess of things and said this. Then, he patted her and left. Tang Bao simply couldn't believe what he was seeing. This person, most importantly, how was she going to explain it to Wan Millet? Even if she didn't have any misunderstanding with Gu Linshan had been pestering her from the beginning. Chapter 292. Who knew that things would get out of hand like this? When Tang Bao returned to her office, she did not see Wan Millet. She stopped a female employee and asked, Did you see Assistant Wan? I think he went to the washroom. Oh, thank you. The female employee was stunned. She wanted to say that there was no need to thank him. After all, he was the big boss. However, he disappeared in the blink of an eye. When Tang Bao opened the door of the washroom, she saw Wan Millet standing in front of the mirror in a daze. Tang Bao hesitated and walked over. Her head was slightly lowered, like someone who had done something wrong. She and Wan Millet entered university at the same time in high school. Their grades were similar and they were half-baked. However, their feelings for each other had never changed because of anything. Even if she wanted to do something, Wan Millet would cooperate with her. To put it bluntly, even if she wanted to rob a bank, Wan Millet would give her a lookout. Tang Bao thought of the time when she stole the bride and climbed over the wall to enter the bride's room. She also stepped on Wan Millet's shoulder and climbed over the wall to get in. Although the groom was not the one she wanted in the end, it did not matter. It was the first time that the atmosphere between her and Wan Millet was so oppressive. If you have something to say, just say it. Wan Millet frowned. Are you hungry? I know it's a little weird to ask you if you're hungry in the washroom, but I really don't know what to say. Let me tell you, my heart hurts now. I'm in a bad mood because you're in a bad mood. Tang Bao pursed her lips and looked at Wan Millet. Then I'll ask you directly. What's going on between you and Gu Linshan? Wan Millet turned around and faced her. Tang Bao felt a headache whenever she thought of Gu Linshan. However, she still wanted to tell Wan Millet in detail. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's provoked me several times. Every time, he said something flirtatious. He likes you? He doesn't even have the word like in his eyes, okay? Tang Bao almost laughed out loud. Really? Really? His eyes have no emotions at all. I can guarantee that. As for what he wants to do, I'm not sure, Tang Bao said after thinking for a while. Millet, we've been good friends for so many years. Don't you trust me? Tang Bao said bitterly. I also want to believe you, but what kind of image did you show me? You put your hand on his shoulder. Tell me, what should I think? Wan Millet was furious. You should have appeared a little later, Tang Bao said. Wan Millet raised his voice in disbelief. What did you say? If I show up a little later, I'll be able to see the stupid look on his face when he gets knocked out by my brick. If that's the case, why didn't you tell me the truth earlier? I kept telling you that I like Gu Linshan. Do you think it's funny? Have you been laughing at me all this time? Wan Millet questioned. How could he feel the pain of being deceived by his good friend? Millet, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to be sad. Besides, I thought that Gu Linshan just went crazy for a while. He'll be fine after a while. Who knows why he did this again today? Tang Bao wanted to slap Gu Linshan to death. You always have your reasons, but I still can't understand it. Just let me be alone, Wan Millet said, and immediately pushed the door open to go to the bathroom. Tang Bao knew that Wan Millet was disappointed and sad, so he could understand Wan Millet's anger. So he was willing to give Wan Millet some time to calm down. But it couldn't be too long. When Tang Bao thought of Gu Linshan, he wanted to kill him. When he thought of Gu Linshan, Tang Bao got angry. There were some bruises on her body from last night, but there was a bruise in the middle. Wasn't it caused by Gu Linshan? That lunatic. Then, Tang Bao was troubled. If Di Haotian found out, how could she explain herself? Could she hide from him? At night. Di Haotian narrowed his eyes and raised his dark eyebrows. What's the problem? Tang Bao felt that although Di Haotian looked like a human, he definitely had the blood of a beast flowing in his veins. Tomorrow is Saturday. Let's make a deal. Let me take 2 days off this week, Tang Bao said. Why? The company has 2 days off. Why can't I have 2 days off? Tang Bao protested with a red face. No. Di Haotian was absent-minded. Tang Bao struggled. Tang Bao panicked in his heart and jumped up with a start. He immediately turned over. How about this? Tang Bao laughed dryly. Di Haotian leaned lazily against the headboard of the bed. His eyes were extremely dark as he locked onto his prey. A few minutes later Di Haotian saw the bruise on Tang Bao's waist. His cold dark eyes suddenly narrowed and sharpened. How did you get the bruise on your waist? Ah, that. Didn't you do it? Tang Bao was still in a daze. When he was suddenly asked, his brain slowed down. I did it myself. Don't you think I know? No matter how Di Haotian did it, he would not have left such a mark. That might be because I accidentally hid it somewhere. Before Tang Bao could finish his words, he was turned over and faced Di Haotian's sharp dark eyes. Where did you hid it? On the corner of the desk. Tang Bao tried to make himself look normal. His expression did not change, and his eyes did not move. However, Di Haotian reached out and clamped Tang Bao's shoulders. He used force. Baby, are you lying to me? You. How can you say that I'm lying to you? I'm telling the truth. Is that so? Then why is your heart beating faster? Chapter 293. Di Haotian could even see the changes in her heartbeat. What was the difference between this and being transparent in front of him? How scary was this? Do you want to say it yourself, or do you want me to investigate? Di Haotian's aura became cold. Tang Bao did not dare to let Di Haotian investigate. If she told the truth, she could still survive. However, if she let Di Haotian investigate, she would definitely die. Gu Linshan did it, Tang Bao said honestly. When she saw Di Haotian's cold eyes, she immediately clarified. He pinched me with his hands. Why did he pinch you? Di Haotian's dark eyes were sharp. I'm not sure. As soon as Tang Bao finished speaking, the pressure on her body disappeared. Di Haotian turned over and got out of bed. He paced back and forth. His expression was terrible. Tang Bao sat up on the bed and pulled the blanket over herself. She looked at Di Haotian's gloomy expression and felt a little scared. Di Haotian, are you angry? Tang Bao asked. If I didn't find out, were you going to never say it? Di Haotian looked at her coldly. I didn't think it was a big deal, so. You didn't think it was a big deal? Di Haotian asked coldly. That's not what I meant. Tang Bao had become wooden. He was having a headache over what he had just said. Why did she say that? But she did not know what to say. Should she ask Di Haotian to settle the score with Gu Linshan? She didn't know when Di Haotian had already stood in front of her. He lifted her face with his hand and said coldly, Now, anything about you can make me sensitive. Tang Bao quietly looked at Di Haotian's trembling eyes. Her heart was bitter and sour. Even after Di Haotian finished dressing and walked out of the walk-in closet, the bitterness in her heart had not dissipated. He watched as Di Haotian took out his phone to make a call. "Where are you? I'm looking for you to drink." "Are you going out?" "I'll be back in an hour." With that, Di Haotian glanced at her and left. Tang Bao sat on the bed in a daze. If he came back in an hour, how would he be able to drink? Was he trying to fool her? Tang Bao collapsed weakly on the bed. She knew that what Gu Linshan had done to her would provoke Di Haotian. But she didn't expect it to be so intense. Di Haotian was exuding a cold and angry aura, which made her tremble in fear. "Young master, why are you going out so late?" Zhongli asked. Di Haotian had just entered the hall with a cigarette in his mouth when he heard Zhang Li's question. He looked over coldly. Zhang Li was so scared that she immediately lowered her head. She only dared to raise her head when the cold wind dissipated. "You shouldn't have forgotten your identity." Li En appeared behind her. Zhang Li was stunned for a moment, and her face was full of regret. She said, "I know. But if the young master went out, what would happen to the young madam? Did the two of them quarrel?" "If the young master went out after a quarrel, wouldn't the young madam be sad?" "Even if it's true, you shouldn't have asked where the young master went," Lian said. Although Zhang Li knew this, she still felt uncomfortable in her heart. Lian said this and said, "The butler is really heartless." With that, she lowered her head and hurried away. Lian looked at the figure and frowned. In the private room, Gu Linshan was sitting lazily on the sofa and smoking. There were other prominent men present, as well as a female model accompanying him. They were having fun. At this moment, the door of the private room was pushed open. Di Haotian's tall figure walked in. His sharp eyes scanned the room indifferently, and his voice was low and majestic. "Unrelated people, get out." Gu Linshan's eyes rippled. It seemed that he was here to cause trouble. The other men and women sitting there, especially the men, were all prominent people. Naturally, they knew the king of D City, Di Haotian. When they saw him enter, some of them wanted to go forward and brush their faces. Unexpectedly, the aura that he exuded made it impossible for them to get close to him. It was especially terrifying. Therefore, they all kept quiet out of fear and quickly left. Gu Linshan was left alone in the private room. "I say you." Gu Linshan's words came to an abrupt end. His dark eyes suddenly shook and he quickly dodged. With a bang, a hole appeared where Gu Linshan was sitting. The sponge in the sofa was blown out. Di Haotian was holding a desert eagle in his hand. The black muzzle seemed to be emitting hot air from the bullet. Together with Di Haotian's murderous aura, it was terrifying. "Di Haotian, are you crazy?" Gu Linshan growled eerily. "You dodged quickly?" Di Haotian's sinister expression was particularly frightening under the light. "You actually shot me for a woman." Gu Linshan's expression was extremely ugly. "It's good that you know." Di Haotian pointed the gun at Gu Linshan again and asked, "Do you want to try again? My bullet is faster, or you run faster." "Don't take it seriously." Gu Linshan stretched out his hand to stop him. If he didn't stop Di Haotian, no one would be able to stop him if he went crazy. "I was just joking." "Then what do you think my joke index was when I shot you just now?" Di Haotian asked coldly. "No joke, only killing intent." Gu Linshan sneered. "But what's the point of holding a gun?" With that, Gu Linshan took out the gun on his body and threw it far away. "Let's use our fists to determine who wins or loses. Let's see if you, the wolf in the cage, are more ferocious or the wolf in the forest." Di Haotian threw the gun in his hand back. Gao Ling caught it. "Young master? All of you, get out!" All the bodyguards retreated out of the door. Only Di Haotian and Gu Linshan were left in the private room. The room was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop on the carpet. Suddenly, Di Haotian and Gu Linshan were like two wolves. They suddenly stood up and leaped towards each other. Their fists were like iron as they struck each other, all the blows landed on each other's body. They took it without hesitation. The two of them punched and swept their legs. Every move was done with all their strength. They didn't look like friends, but like enemies who had known each other for many years. Di Haotian lifted the coffee table with one hand and threw it at Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan didn't dodge. His eyes were fierce as he punched the glass surface of the coffee table. With a bang, only the sound of glass shattering could be heard. The fist passed through the glass and hit Di Haotian's face. Di Haotian quickly turned his face and grabbed Gu Linshan's wrist with one hand. The pain was worse than the broken glass. Gu Linshan directly hit Di Haotian, nailing him between the coffee table and the sofa. Gu Linshan looked down at Di Haotian and sneered. "Do you admit defeat?" Des. Di Haotian's eyes flashed fiercely. His long legs kicked the coffee table. Even Gu Linshan was kicked far away. Di Haotian stood up and looked coldly at Gu Linshan, who was standing up from the ground. Both of their clothes were torn, and their faces were torn as well. From the looks of it, they didn't gain much. Chapter 294. There was no need for him to back down, so he threw another punch. The two groups of bodyguards outside the private room stared at each other as they listened to the loud bangs coming from the private room. It didn't take long before it stopped. Inside the private room, Gu Linshan was covered in wounds again, while Di Haotian was the same as before. Gu Linshan collapsed on the sofa, his face tense as he endured the pain. It was obvious that he had lost. Di Haotian looked down at him coldly. "Let me tell you a story. A teenager was playing in the mountains when he suddenly met a tiger. He was so scared that he immediately drew his bow and shot it. His skill was poor, and the arrow hit a rock beside him. After he ran away, he felt that his strength was incredible. The next day, he shot at the rock again, but no matter how hard he tried, the arrow couldn't hit the rock. So don't be too proud. You were just angry, that's why you were lucky enough to beat me," Gu Linshan said coldly. Di Haotian looked at him expressionlessly, his eyes full of cruel revenge. "I will remember what happened today, so don't ever have a woman in the future." "Don't worry, women are troublesome creatures. I will never have one in my life." Gu Linshan smiled coldly. Di Haotian didn't say anything. He turned and left the private room. His bodyguards immediately followed him. Gu Linshan's bodyguards entered the private room and saw Gu Linshan sitting on the sofa. The inside of the private room was almost completely destroyed. Gu Linshan naturally didn't want to stay any longer, so he left the private room as well. The car was waiting outside the bar, its black body bathed in the dark night. Gu Linshan got into the car, and it drove away from the bar. The sound of the scooter on the hard concrete road was particularly clear in the dark night, but it also had a lively rhythm. A girl in rustic clothes with an explosive hairstyle had a big head that didn't match her slender figure at all. She paddled with one foot after another and was very good at it. There was a loud bang. The driver braked hard, but still hit someone. Gu Linshan's face darkened. "Do you know how to drive?" "Young Master Gu, I think I hit someone," the driver said shakily. "Deal with it," Gu Linshan ordered coldly. The wound at the corner of his mouth split open again, making his mood extremely bad. Di Haotian had really forgotten about his friends when he saw a girl. He was so ruthless to him. The chauffeur got out of the car and the girl on the ground stood up. "Young lady, are you all right?" the driver asked. "No." The girl raised her head, revealing her true face. The pockmarks on his face were like the stars in the sky. His complexion was sallow even in the dark of the night. When he raised his face and smiled, he revealed a row of black teeth. Coupled with his weird explosive hairstyle, it was like a ball was buckled on his head. The ugly driver almost vomited. Why did he call her little girl just now? He was so ugly that he didn't deserve to be called that. However, the driver's mental fortitude was still quite strong. Although his heart was in a mess, he still looked calm on the surface. "It's good that you're not injured." After the driver finished speaking, he got into the car. He didn't want to take another look. The girl stepped on her scooter again and slid past the car. She looked at the car window for just a moment. She slid a distance away and the car drove away. The girl who looked like a girl slid on the scooter. She turned her head back and stared at the back of the car that was gradually disappearing. The night wind blew her explosive hairstyle. Suddenly, the corners of her mouth curled up into a smile, revealing her black teeth. Di Haotian appeared in the room exactly 1 hour later. At this moment, Tang Bao was not sad, uneasy, or guilty. He was sprawled out on his back and snoring loudly. Di Haotian's face darkened. Tang Bao had finally escaped Di Haotian's clutches. Of course, he had to hurry up and sleep. Besides, Di Haotian was completely overbearing and sensitive. There was nothing between her and Gu Linshan. She didn't like Gu Linshan, and Gu Linshan didn't like her either. He was just a jerk who had nothing better to do. That was all. Therefore, she wouldn't bring any psychological burden to herself. Otherwise, wouldn't she be indirectly admitting that there was something between her and Gu Linshan? Early in the morning, Tang Bao, who was not ravaged, slept comfortably. Every cell in his body felt like it was being treated well. Tang Bao narrowed his eyes comfortably and stretched. Then, he realized that something was wrong. He turned his head and saw Di Haotian sleeping next to him. He immediately screamed, "Ah!" Di Haotian frowned. "What are you screaming for?" "Di Haotian, what happened to your face?" Tang Bao asked in disbelief. Di Haotian's face was full of big and small cuts. They had not been treated, and there were even blood stains on them. Di Haotian looked at her coldly. "What do you think?" It can't be, it can't be." Tang Bao was a little frightened. "I don't have to scratch your face when I sleep, right? We've been together for more than a day or two." Di Haotian got out of bed and went straight to the bathroom. "Di Haotian, don't clean your face." Before Tang Bao could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by the slamming of the door. Tang Bao sighed bitterly. Did he want her to use it to appease Di Haotian? No way. She would never do that. The sound of water came from the bathroom. Tang Bao got out of bed and walked barefoot to the bathroom door. He put his face close to the door and said to Di Haotian, "Di Haotian, can you hear me?" There was only the sound of water. "Di Haotian, I know you can definitely hear me. Are you still angry about what happened yesterday? However, that was really a misunderstanding. And after thinking about it, I feel that Gu Linshan did that for a purpose. He must have done it on purpose, so that Wan Milei would see it. It's not like you don't know that Wan Milei likes Gu Linshan. In this way, Wan Milei would misunderstand and Wan Milei would no longer like Gu Linshan. But I have to say that Gu Linshan is a sinister and shameless person. He only wants to achieve his own goals and forgot about the friendship between Wan Milei and me. Now, Wan Milei is very angry with me. I'm also very innocent," Tang Bao said as he scratched the door with his fingers, making a squeaking sound. Then, the sound of water responded to him. Tang Bao sighed deeply. This man was much scarier than a woman when he was angry. It was scarier when he was silent, wasn't it? The door opened in front of her and Di Haotian appeared in front of her. His eyes were gloomy. "What do you want to talk to me about?" Chapter 295. Tang Bao staggered and was dragged into the bathroom. In her shock, the door was slammed shut behind her. Her vision blurred. "I don't want to wash up." Tang Bao wanted to run, but she didn't succeed. Di Haotian's big hand slapped the wall. Tang Bao stood upright and looked at the imposing Di Haotian in shock. This scene was too familiar. Didn't it happen 2 days ago? She recalled. "What do you think of?" Di Haotian asked. "Di Haotian, what are you going to do?" Her voice trembled. "What do you think? Can't you tell?" Di Haotian's gaze was deep. "Want to rest?" "Yes." Tang Bao nodded vigorously with an innocent look. "You still want to run away in this state?" Tang Bao was stunned. What did she look like? She looked down. Tang Bao's face turned red and she hugged herself tightly. It's too late now, Di Haotian said. No. I want to take leave. Tang Bao shouted anxiously. Have you written the leave request? I'll write it now. I can't wait. Tang Bao was glad that she could rest for the night. Now, she encountered Di Haotian, who was even more aggressive. Tang Bao really couldn't take it anymore. When Tang Bao woke up, it was already time for dinner. She felt as if her whole body was falling apart. Just as she was about to turn around, Tang Bao didn't need to turn around to know who it was. You're awake? Are you hungry? Feeling the person in his arms move, Di Haotian immediately woke up and asked. Tang Bao didn't speak. She was passively resisting. Are you angry? Di Haotian's low and hoarse voice was right beside her ear. Tang Bao was so angry that she directly covered her entire head with the blanket. She didn't want to listen to Di Haotian. As soon as she heard it, she felt that all the bones in her body hurt. Or should we eat like lunch? Tang Bao, who was hiding under the blanket, suddenly froze. He wished he could find a hole to hide in. She was so anxious that she immediately threw the blanket away. Her face was red with anger. Di Haotian, how dare you treat me like that? Then do you want to eat? Di Haotian hooked her pretty chin, ignoring the anger on her face. To him, there was only cuteness and nothing else. Tang Bao pouted and glared at the devil. After weighing the pros and cons, he said reluctantly. Di Haotian swallowed her mouth before letting go and getting off the bed. As soon as Di Haotian left, Tang Bao lay on the bed in despair. If he had known that he would not be able to escape in the end, he might as well have died earlier and reincarnated earlier. How did she meet such a terrifying person like Di Haotian? While he was being fed by Di Haotian, Tang Bao was playing with his phone and did not even look up. When the chopsticks and spoon reached his mouth, he naturally opened his mouth. Di Haotian's dark eyes narrowed slightly. He saw what he was doing on the phone screen and did not say anything. He was stuffing Tang Bao's favorite meat into her mouth. When he was almost done eating, Tang Bao showed Di Haotian the phone screen. Here, the leave request for the night after tomorrow. Approve. Di Haotian's face was unfathomable. He was so easy to talk to that Tang Bao was suddenly moved to tears. But you have to pay it back. What? Tang Bao was stunned. Are you going to deduct the money? Yes. I don't like money, Di Haotian said. If you don't like it, why do you earn so much money? For you to spend, Di Haotian said indifferently. Tang Bao's face heated up. Then, she looked at Di Haotian pitifully to gain sympathy. I don't want to pay it back. How about I take a day off? Just tonight? It depends. Tang Bao's face fell. She threw the phone aside and lay on the bed. You're not eating any more? No. Tang Bao shouted with her face buried in the pillow. Di Haotian had fed her a lot, so she was not hungry anymore. She stood up and went to the living room to eat. Tang Bao lifted her face from the pillow. She did not see Di Haotian. She was so angry that she bit her lip. When it was time to sleep at night, Tang Bao did not want Di Haotian to see her. She was afraid that something would go wrong. However, when she deliberately moved to the side, Di Haotian's arm tightened. Then, she was restrained again. Baby, don't keep moving. Tang Bao was so scared that her forehead was sweating. When did I move? If I say there is, there is. Tang Bao cursed in her heart. Yes, 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 whatever you say is right. You're so domineering. Halfway through her sleep, Tang Bao felt her body heating up. Tang Bao, who was extremely sleepy, was struggling between sleeping and her body. Put out the fire. Tang Bao hated the weekends. In the future, she would not allow the company to have weekends. Forget it, she would work overtime. Di Haotian's car stopped in front of the company. Tang Bao got out of the car angrily. She did not even talk to Di Haotian. Anyway, she just wanted him to know that she was very angry. Di Haotian looked at Tang Bao's angry face and was in a good mood. It seemed that he had to think of a way to coax his little thing. It was the first time in his life that he coaxed a girl. Tang Bao walked into the secretary's office and said, "In the future, I want to work overtime on weekends every week. Chen Shu had been a secretary for so many years, but this was the first time she showed a dull expression. Is there a problem? Absolutely not. Then it's settled. Don't forget to arrange anything for me. Arrange anything, Tang Bao said and turned to leave. Chen Shu thought that President Tang usually had nothing to do. Why would he give up the beautiful weekends and work overtime? Of course, she did not ask these questions. Since President Tang said so, she would do as he said. Tang Bao walked into the office and saw that Wan Malay was already working in front of the office. In the past, Wan Malay would definitely tease her when he saw her. Chapter 296. Tang Bao pursed his lips. How awkward. She was still angry. It was getting late. They would have lunch in an hour. Tang Bao sat down in his chair and turned on his computer. While waiting for the computer to turn on, he looked at Wan Malay, who was working at his desk. He hesitated and asked, "Malay, what do you want to eat for lunch? I'll treat you to lunch?" "Thank you, President Tang, but there's no need." Wan Malay rejected him expressionlessly. "Malay, don't be like this. It's so strange. I want to laugh." Wan Malay gritted her teeth. "I'm angry, so don't ask me anything other than work. If you annoy me again, I'll resign." Okay. I won't say any more." Tang Bao gave in to her. Gu Linshan had alienated her friendship with Wan Malay. Thinking of that bastard Gu Linshan, Tang Bao really wanted to smash him to death with a brick. Tang Bao felt very bored in the office when he couldn't talk to Wan Malay. Wan Malay had a job, but she didn't. Just as Tang Bao was sighing, he saw a door beside him. What was going on? Why was there a door there? Tang Bao walked over and pushed the door open. Then, he realized that it was a bedroom. Tang Bao walked in and out with a blank expression. He asked Wan Malay, "Malay, what's going on? Why is there a room? There wasn't one before. This is work. Can you at least answer me?" Wan Malay walked over. "President Tang, this is the lounge that young master prepared for you. You can sleep when you're tired." Tang Bao didn't have a sweet smile on his face. Instead, he felt panicked. What was Di Haotian thinking? Tang Bao walked into the bedroom and looked at the huge bedroom again. This was a room that was designed after the walls were knocked out. There was everything inside. A wardrobe, a bathroom, and a toilet. It was like a suite. Just 2 days during the weekend? Wasn't this a little too fast? In an instant, Tang Bao had a bad feeling. Could it be that he had let her sleep in the company and had a good rest? Tang Bao was so scared that his heart started to beat erratically. The phone on the desk rang. Tang Bao walked over and picked up the phone. When he saw the missed call, he immediately refused to answer it. There was no need to question the bedroom. No matter what Di Haotian did, Tang Bao felt that it was very dangerous. She didn't want to answer his call either. She also said that she would be angry if he dared to touch her. It was Di Haotian who did not take her words seriously. Therefore, Tang Bao wanted to let Di Haotian know that she was not joking. He was really angry. Let the phone ring there. Tang Bao sat in front of the computer and played her game. She did not answer the call. The phone rang once and stopped for about 10 minutes before it rang again. The Tang Bao still did not pick up. Then, a message popped up. Tang Bao stretched his neck to take a look. It was still from Di Haotian. She did not even open it to read. In any case, as long as it was from Di Haotian, she would not pick up. Her phone rang again. Tang Bao looked straight ahead and played on his computer. Wan Malay, who was at his desk, looked at the expressionless Tang Bao and couldn't help but mutter in his heart. Didn't he know how to mute the phone if he didn't want to pick it up? Didn't he know that he was disturbing other people's work? But who was the one who called? Could it be the young master? Why were the two of them fighting again? Could it be because of the Gu Linshan incident? Forget it, who cares about her? In any case, Tang Bao should be punished. But that wasn't right. Why was Tang Bao the one being punished for not picking up the phone? It should be that Tang Bao called the young master, but the young master ignored her, right? Wan Malay did not understand. There was a knock on the door. Come in. Tang Bao's eyes moved away from the computer. Then, he saw Zhou Jisen walking in. Do you have work for me to deal with? Are you finally paying attention to me? Tang Bao asked in disbelief and eagerness. Zhou Jisen cleared his throat slightly and said, President Tang, I'm here to convey the young master's words. What words? Tang Bao was stunned. If you don't pick up the phone, I'll lock you in the castle forever. This is the young master's intention. Tang Bao slammed the table and stood up angrily. He's too much. I'm not picking up the phone. If he dares to lock me in the castle, I'll divorce him. Tell him exactly what I said. Wan Malay. Zhou Jisen looked very troubled. Then, he raised the phone in his hand and pointed the screen at Tang Bao's face. Then, Tang Bao saw that the phone was in the middle of a call. It was Di Haotian calling Zhou Jisen, and he even turned on the loudspeaker. Tang Bao glared at Zhou Jisen angrily. He wanted to strangle Zhou Jisen to death. This sinister villain. What did you just say? Say it again. Di Haotian's gloomy voice came through the phone. Tang Bao's attitude immediately changed. He smiled and said, I didn't say anything. You must have heard wrongly. Wan Malay. Zhou Jisen. Pick up the phone. Di Haotian's irresistible aura came through. Then, he ended the call with Zhou Jisen. Then, Tang Bao's phone on the table rang. Tang Bao felt like he was about to collapse. Zhou Jisen turned and left the office. Wan Malay directly closed the door in the middle. The two tacitly left Tang Bao alone to face Di Haotian's menacing presence. After a few rings, Tang Bao hurriedly picked up the phone. If he didn't pick up, the music would stop. Tang Bao picked up the phone and walked into the lounge. What? Why didn't you pick up the phone? I'm angry. Can't you see? If I'm angry, why would I pick up your phone? What's there to be angry about? Tang Bao asked righteously. Be good. Don't be angry, okay? Di Haotian's coaxing voice came through. Tang Bao's anger was slightly appeased, but he was still unhappy. What do you want to do with a lounge in my office? Let you rest. It's that simple? Song Beibei asked in disbelief. Or what do you hope for? Di Haotian's low and hoarse voice came through. Tang Bao immediately said, Of course not. It's best to let me rest. I'll come over early in the afternoon and take you out to play. Huh? Where are we going? You'll know when the time comes. Take a nap after lunch. After ending the call, Tang Bao was still thinking about where Di Haotian was going to take her to play. Unexpectedly. If only she could guess what Di Haotian was thinking. Such an unfathomable person. Even if Tang Bao didn't want Di Haotian to remind her, she began to yawn after lunch. Then she went straight into the lounge. She fell on the bed. Tang Bao fell asleep. After all, she was seriously sleep-deprived to deal with Di Haotian. Tang Bao didn't know how long she slept. In a daze, she felt that her body was tied up. When her mind gradually became clear, her whole body shook. Chapter 297. You're awake, Di Haotian said. Oh. Tang Bao struggled and asked, When did you come? I slept for a while. Tang Bao thought that she did not feel anything at all. However, she still did not want to get up. She stretched under the quilt and yawned. Her eyes were watery. They were even brighter and more moving. Di Haotian hugged her and his heart softened. Tang Bao was so scared that she immediately jumped up and ran away in a panic. She even panicked and accused, You said that you wouldn't be awake today. Are you awake now? Tang Bao was speechless. Could this person be any worse? The two of them left the company and got into the car. The car drove away. Tang Bao asked curiously, Di Haotian, where are you taking me? Can you tell me first? No. Tang Bao did not ask any more. If it was a surprise for her, she did not mind knowing it later. An hour later, Tang Bao stood there and looked at Di Haotian, who was soaking in the hot spring, with a gloomy expression. He looked at her lazily. "Are you coming down?" Di Haotian said in a devilish tone. "No need." Tang Bao pulled off the bath towel on her body uncomfortably. After she pulled it off, she was wearing a swimsuit underneath. At that moment, Tang Bao seemed to see Di Haotian's black eyes flash with a darker color. It made her panic for a moment and she almost turned around and ran away. "Di Haotian, you said it," Tang Bao reminded him. "I mean it." Tang Bao then lifted her feet and walked into the pool. Then, she squatted down against the stone wall and soaked most of her body in the water. She immediately felt comfortable. Her nose was full of the smell of Chinese medicine. It could relieve fatigue. "Come here." Tang Bao was about to close her eyes when she heard Di Haotian's unhappy tone. "I'm right here." After Tang Bao finished speaking, he saw Di Haotian's face turn cold. It was so cold that it froze the water in the hot spring. Then, reluctantly, she moved closer to Di Haotian. When they were soaking next to Di Haotian, Tang Bao asked, "Are you satisfied?" "Not satisfied." "Then what do you mean by satisfied?" Di Haotian. Tang Bao panicked. "Just soak like this." Tang Bao could only relax his body and lean on it. There was no obstruction at all. He could even feel it clearly. The back was the closest to the heart, and it was also very close to Di Haotian's heart. Tang Bao's eyes flickered and his face was flushed. He said, "The closest distance between two hearts is not an embrace, but a back-to-back. Am I right, Di Haotian?" "Di Haotian, I know why you're ignoring me. Do you think what I said is wrong?" Tang Bao said unhappily. "Think about it yourself. The back is definitely thinner than the front. Isn't it because the heart is the closest back-to-back?" Di Haotian still did not speak. "I knew it. You don't like to listen to such words. Do you look down on such words? Do you think I'm too girly?" Tang Bao was unhappy, and his face was unhappy. Two people back-to-back, and the heart is on the same side? Di Haotian could not bear it and said in a deep voice, Tang Bao asked, "Aren't they on the same side?" "My heart is on the left. If you turn around." They were really not on the same side. Tang Bao was shocked at his own stupidity. His face suddenly turned red. The distance between two hearts was the current position. They were on the same side, and it had to be a man hugging from behind to be the closest distance to the heart. "Have you thought it through?" "I was confused just now." Tang Bao's eyes darted around as he looked at the sky. "With this kind of brain, I don't know how you studied in school." The corner of Tang Bao's mouth twitched, and he said unhappily, "Didn't you ask around before you married me? I promise I can change your life. I'm smart enough. I don't need a smart wife," Di Haotian said matter-of-factly. "Humph, you must be an ignorant and incompetent person in school. The kind of person who fights, smokes, drinks, picks up girls, and changes every day. When you fail your exams, you use your family's money to buy grades. You're scolded by the teachers, and you even use your family's power to suppress them, right?" Tang Bao asked. "You can ask around. Once you find out, you'll only be a clingy person who can't be chased away." "That powerful?" Tang Bao was surprised, but not shocked. If Di Haotian was not powerful, would he be able to stand at the peak of power? Would he be able to control such a huge business empire? Tang Bao naturally could not compare. Ever since she was young, her grades in school had always been mediocre. She was not bad, but she was not good either. But Di Haotian did not have to say that she would cling to him and could not be chased away, right? But she was very clear in her heart. If she had not saved Di Haotian's mother, how could she have come into contact with Di Haotian? It was easy to pick the stars, but difficult to reach Di Haotian. Why did she not want to think about this topic so much? It's amazing. Tang Bao was speechless. How did they talk about such a dangerous topic? He quickly changed the topic. "I want to eat." Di Haotian picked up the fruit. Tang Bao was still waiting. He turned around and was about to take it. However, Tang Bao instinctively opened his mouth, and the fruit was pushed into his mouth. Tang Bao bit down, and the juice overflowed his mouth. Tang Bao's face turned red and he closed his eyes shyly. He quickly swallowed the fruit and juice. However, until the fruit was finished, Tang Bao did not succeed. His watery eyes stared at Di Haotian weakly. Is this how you eat? I'll show you. No way. Tang Bao reached out to grab the fruit beside the pool and stuffed it into his mouth. If he really did that, there was no need to think about the consequences. She'd better be safe. Eat less fruit. I'll take you to eat something delicious after soaking for a while. Okay. Tang Bao's small face was facing the sky, and he narrowed his eyes comfortably. He was still chewing on the unfinished fruit when he thought of something and asked, Di Haotian, are we going back to the castle after eating? No. Then where are we going to stay? You can stay wherever you want. Chapter 298. Was there a mountain in the place we drove past just now? Shall we go and stay in a tent? You don't want to? Tang Bao opened her eyes and asked. Di Haotian narrowed his sharp black eyes and looked at Tang Bao's innocent look. This little thing was starting to think again. Di Haotian pretended not to notice and agreed. Okay. Tang Bao suddenly felt smug in her heart. What? Would she do such an evil and dangerous thing? She felt that Di Haotian was lying to her when he said that he would not do it at night. Then, she would be deceived. Tang Bao thought that she was a smart and resourceful girl in school. Well, a real man would not talk about his past achievement. In any case, she was a smart person. After the two of them had dinner, they went to the mountain in the car. Tang Bao looked at the winding mountain road and asked, Di Haotian, are we going to climb the mountain? No need. No need? Then how do we go up? As soon as Tang Bao finished asking, she heard the rumbling sound of a helicopter. She raised her head in shock and saw a super cool helicopter appear in the sky before slowly descending. Whose family was this? How could they fly a helicopter here? After the helicopter landed, Di Haotian said, Let's go. Di Haotian, is this helicopter here to pick us up? Then we don't have to climb the mountain. Tang Bao was dumbfounded. When did Di Haotian arrange a helicopter? Until they got on the helicopter, Tang Bao was a little confused. She leaned against the window and watched the helicopter gradually rise and the mountain slowly become smaller in her eyes. Di Haotian, aren't we being too wasteful? Why do we need to rent a helicopter to climb the mountain? Tang Bao turned her head and asked Di Haotian, who looked indifferent. The indifferent Di Haotian turned his face and looked at her. I need to rent a helicopter to take a flight? What do you mean? Is this your plane? Tang Bao asked in confusion. Di Haotian hugged her waist and pressed her against his sturdy chest domineeringly, saying, It's ours. Then why didn't I know you had a plane before? Tang Bao was stunned. It's not like we're going somewhere far away. Why take a plane? However, as long as you like it, I can give you anything, let alone a plane. Di Haotian's black eyes locked onto her clear pupils. Tang Bao was extremely excited. If there was a plane, wouldn't she be able to go anywhere? Di Haotian, I want to learn how to fly a plane. Then I can fly wherever I want. No. Why? Tang Bao's excitement was doused with cold water. There's a driver. Then can I learn how to drive? No. Why? There's a driver. Tang Bao was not convinced. Even if you have a driver, you still know how to drive, right? If you like, I'll be your driver. Tang Bao was elated when she heard that. It was no big deal that she could not learn how to drive. Di Haotian, the king of Di City, would be her driver. This was more fulfilling than anything else. Are you happy? Di Haotian's black eyes shone with a dangerous light. Tang Bao did not notice it and nodded vigorously. Yes. That's good. Di Haotian finished speaking. Tang Bao was stunned by the sudden turn of events. She blinked her eyes and did not struggle. She immediately struggled after that. Di Haotian let go of her. He looked at Tang Bao's flustered and exasperated little face and stared at her with interest. I'll kick you out. Tang Bao bared her teeth to scare him. Then she turned around and faced Di Haotian to look at the scenery outside. Di Haotian's eyes were smiling as he leaned lazily against the seat. After getting off the plane, Tang Bao saw a tent from afar. She asked in surprise, Di Haotian, when did you get someone to set it up? When I was eating. Tang Bao walked around the tent, then unzipped it and got in. She found that the quilt for sleeping at night had already been laid out. Tang Bao rolled over and somersaulted on the quilt. It was quite comfortable. Moreover, it was tightly sealed. There was no need to worry about being cold at night. There was also a pocket-sized light inside, the kind that had its own electricity. Then Di Haotian went in as well. Di Haotian had long arms and legs, so he was not restrained when he went in. Are you satisfied? Di Haotian asked Tang Bao, who had a look of curiosity on her face. Yes. This is the first time I've slept in a tent. The last time I watched a horror movie. Tang Bao thought of this and turned to ask Di Haotian, do you think there's a murderer hiding on this mountain? Then, he would sneak up on us after we fell asleep? No, it's like this. You wanted to pee in the middle of your sleep, so you walked outside the tent. Then, the murderer who had been hiding in the dark started to attack you. He attacked you and dragged you to the murderer's hut. Then, he attacked me in the tent. What do you think? Yes? Do you think I'm so easy to fool? Everything in horror movies is fake. You're a big demon. Tang Bao glared at him and then pounced on Di Haotian. Di Haotian groaned. Tang Bao was so scared that he quickly let go and dodged to the side. She did not get any benefits at all. When it was time to sleep at night, Tang Bao was not willing to sleep. He was very energetic. He thought about the place where he was. It was right in the middle of the mountain top, surrounded by mountains and forests. It was quite refreshing. Di Haotian, who was sleeping next to him, did not expect Tang Bao to sleep so early. He got up. Di Haotian, what are you doing? Tang Bao asked. Yes. Tang Bao thought of the murderer that he mentioned just now. He quickly sat up and tugged at Di Haotian's clothes. I'll go too. With me. Di Haotian looked at the small hand that was tugging at him with an evil look in his eyes. Are you scared? Tang Bao raised his chin proudly. I'm not scared. I'm just worried that you're not safe in the mountains and forests alone. Think about it, your status is much more noble than mine. If anything happens, you'll lose a lot, right? No one can hurt me. Don't worry. Di Haotian said, pulled back his clothes and went out. Tang Bao was left sitting alone in the tent. She wanted to curse, but if she cursed, wouldn't it reveal her timid feelings? Moreover, what if the murderers were to be attracted by the sound of her voice? Oh right, there shouldn't be any wolves on this mountain, right? What if there were wolves? Tang Bao felt that she could not think about it anymore. She would tremble all over if she thought about it. Really, why did she mention the murderer for no reason? She originally wanted to scare Di Haotian, but she scared herself instead. Besides, how could Di Haotian be so easily scared? Chapter 299. Tang Bao waited in the tent nervously. After waiting for a while, Di Haotian did not come back. Where did he go to pee? He couldn't have gone so far, right? Di Haotian could deal with murderers. What if the murderers were scared away by Di Haotian and killed her instead? The more Tang Bao thought about it, the more panicked she became. She could not help but shout, Di Haotian, are you done peeing? Where did you go to pee? Did you have to go so far? As soon as she finished shouting, the zipper opened. Di Haotian came in. Tang Bao's little heart returned to normal, and her face returned to normal. Where did you go? Tang Bao's face was full of anger. Why, are you scared? Di Haotian's lips curled into a wicked smile. Tang Bao refused to admit her mistake. Of course I'm not scared. I'm just afraid that you'll be taken away by the bad guys. Di Haotian looked at her slightly red face and approached her. What are you doing? Tang Bao's face turned even redder. Di Haotian's black eyes were so deep that she could not see the bottom. Tang Bao's little heart tightened. She looked at Di Haotian's boundless black eyes with a tense body. The overwhelming pressure in the air shrouded her deeply, and she felt like a boulder would fall on her at any time. However, at this dangerous moment, her eyes suddenly darkened. Hey, why are the lights off? Tang Bao looked around with wide eyes. Di Haotian? Can you see me? Di Haotian asked in the darkness. Tang Bao adapted to the darkness, and only then could she see Di Haotian's silhouette and his facial features hidden in the darkness. They were deep and difficult to describe. However, she could see those black eyes clearly because they were darker and deeper than the darkness. I see you. What are you doing? Are you going to sleep? Before Tang Bao finished speaking, she saw green fluorescent lights rising slowly in the darkness. Many of them were flying around. It was extremely breathtaking. Tang Bao stared at the dancing green fluorescent lights in astonishment. He did not even blink. The interesting green fluorescence made Tang Bao happy. Where did it come from? What is this? Tang Bao asked in surprise. Firefly. Fireflies? Di Haotian, do you think I'm a 3-year-old kid who doesn't understand? Fireflies only appear in summer. They won't appear in this season, Tang Bao said in disbelief. However, if he didn't believe it, what was it that was emitting such a fluorescent light? The hot spring is warm and there will be fireflies at night. I caught it for you while you were eating. Do you like them? Tang Bao was so surprised that he was speechless. No wonder Di Haotian walked out of the private room during the meal. She wondered what he was going to do, but she never thought that he was going to catch fireflies. Fireflies fluttered around her and over her head. Tang Bao had never seen fireflies before. She had only seen them on TV or in books. She was amazed and also moved by Di Haotian's actions. Di Haotian's dark eyes became clearer in her eyes. Tang Bao's heart was pounding, like a deer running around. Di Haotian, I'm so happy. What should I do? Tang Bao asked. Di Haotian's long arm wrapped around her. What's the problem? We're on the mountain. Tang Bao felt that it was too bold to act like this outside. As long as there is love in your heart, anywhere is a stage, Di Haotian said hoarsely. Tang Bao lost consciousness. She could only think intermittently. Didn't Di Haotian say that he wouldn't do it tonight? Why did it become so out of control? Tang Bao didn't have the consciousness to think about it anymore. Her mind was in a mess. Only the sound of the wind could be heard. Tang Bao was annoyed by the rumbling of hunger in her stomach. She slapped her hand in the air unconsciously. Di Haotian, don't make noise. Di Haotian looked down at Tang Bao's sleepy face. Then, the change of environment stimulated him. Di Haotian didn't disturb Tang Bao. After getting dressed, he helped Tang Bao put on her clothes. After putting on her clothes, he carried her to the helicopter. Tang Bao didn't have any intention of waking up. The helicopter was louder and wasn't on silent mode. Di Haotian directly put on the earphones for her on the plane. Therefore, Tang Bao slept all the way to the hotel. Di Haotian carried her back to the big bed in the presidential suite. Not long after, lunch was served. Then, Tang Bao turned over. The soreness in her body immediately came from all directions. She opened her eyes and met Di Haotian's dark eyes, who was standing by the bed and looking down at her. You woke up automatically when you smelled the food. That's a good idea. Di Haotian's expression was cold. Tang Bao's eyes moved. She pouted and refused to admit it. I woke up because of the pain. I'll wake you up with food next time. Tang Bao was stunned for a moment. Then, her face turned red. Don't ask her how she knew the meaning behind it. Anyway, ever since she got married, she knew everything. This isn't a tent? Where is this? Tang Bao asked belatedly. The hotel suite, Di Haotian said and turned around to bring her food. After bringing it over, he was about to feed Tang Bao. You don't have to feed me. I can eat. You can eat by yourself, Tang Bao said. Don't be shy. I had a good time last night. Tang Bao's face turned red. Can you not talk about this in broad daylight? You don't have to be shy during the day. Tang Bao was speechless. Don't talk about this in broad daylight. So, she shouldn't be shy? But how could she be as thick-skinned as Di Haotian? She didn't blush at all. Embarrassed, Tang Bao took a bite of the food in front of her. She bit it as if it was Di Haotian. She couldn't bite Di Haotian's muscles. That was all she could do. The two of them ate and returned to the castle when it was close to night. Tang Bao felt that they weren't going out to have fun. Seriously, a few fireflies were enough to make her compromise. What a good-for-nothing! Tang Bao was so tired that she fell asleep in the car. When she woke up, it was already the next day. Chapter 300. But she still went to the office. After all, she hoped that she could hang around the office a little longer so that Wan Malay would be soft-hearted and talk to her. But Wan Malay didn't even look at her for the whole morning, except for the routine business. Tang Bao was depressed. She couldn't stay in the office any longer, so she went to Zhou Jisen's office. Just as she was about to return to the office, her phone rang. Tang Bao took it out and was so shocked that her hand trembled and the phone almost fell to the ground. Her heart ached when the phone broke. Di Haotian had bought it for her. She had already lost one. She hated that bastard Gu Linshan even more. She picked up the phone and cursed, "How dare you call me? Do you know that you've caused me so much trouble? My good friend is still ignoring me. I can't wait to slap you into outer space." "Are you done?" Gu Linshan's deep voice came from the other end. "No. Let me tell you, Gu Linshan. I've never seen a man as bad as you. I despise what he did to you, super despise." Tang Bao roared. Gu Linshan gripped the phone so hard that the veins on the back of his hand were twitching. His expression was terrifying. But his voice didn't seem to change. "I can help you with something." "What is it?" "Ask Wan Malay to forgive you." "Really? You'll be so kind?" Tang Bao was doubtful. "I'm downstairs in your office now. I don't know your office. Come and take me there. I'll explain it to her personally." "Why do you want me to take you there personally?" "I'll ask my secretary to take you there." "Do you think anyone else is worthy?" "Of course, the biggest company will take you there. I'll give you 3 minutes. I don't have the patience. Also, you're the only one allowed to come." Tang Bao was about to say something, but Gu Linshan hung up the phone. Tang Bao was speechless. Thinking about Gu Linshan's identity, that was indeed the case. "But if you want to put on such airs, why did you still come? My small company can't accommodate a big Buddha like you." However, Tang Bao hesitated when he thought of what Gu Linshan had said. Would Gu Linshan really help her explain to Wan Malay? Also, why did Gu Linshan want her to go alone? Tang Bao was not afraid of him. Besides, what if Gu Linshan did something to her again? She knocked him out with a brick. Hence, Tang Bao went downstairs. She saw Gu Linshan's car at the company building. Tang Bao did not go over. Instead, he walked across the road. Sitting in the car, Gu Linshan observed Tang Bao's behavior. Then, his phone rang. He answered, "Come to my car. Come to the coffee shop opposite. I'll sit here and wait for you." Gu Linshan sneered, "Trying to play tricks with me? 3 minutes have passed. Wait patiently." He threw his phone aside and ordered the driver, "Go." Tang Bao sat in his seat, depressed. Looking at the entrance of her company, Gu Linshan had really left. This man was really abominable. Well, how could anyone who was friends with Di Haotian be easy to deal with? Just as Tang Bao's face was contorted in anger, he felt someone standing beside the table. He turned around and looked. "Oh my Dima!" Tang Bao was scared out of his wit. His whole body was pressed against the back of the chair. He stared at the girl standing beside the table in shock. She was wearing dirty clothes, her face was sallow, and there were all kinds of big and small freckles on her face. Her hairstyle was explosive. It was like the aftermath of a bomb thrown into her hair. Can I sit across from you? The girl asked. Yes, yes. Tang Bao did not know why he said yes. Perhaps she was too scared to come back to her senses. The girl sat down opposite him and smiled at Tang Bao. Thank you. She revealed a black tooth. Tang Bao told himself over and over again not to judge a book by its cover. Never. My name is Luoluoli. Hello. Is that your real name? Tang Bao asked. Otherwise, why would she tell a stranger her name so casually? It's my real name. My mother gave it to me. Does it sound nice? It sounds nice. Tang Bao thought the name was interesting, but the way she was dressed was strange. Can I not say my name? If I say I'll help you deal with Gu Linshan, are you willing to tell me your name? Tang Bao. Hee. Loli Luo laughed. Her black tooth was domineering. Tang Bao was speechless. How did that tooth grow? Then he calmed himself down and asked, Do you have a grudge against Gu Linshan? I have a huge grudge against him, Luoluoli said with certainty. Then how do you want to help me? Luoluoli stood up, leaned in front of Tang Bao, and whispered in her ear. Tang Bao felt that although Luoluoli's whole body was very unpleasant to the eyes, she had a faint body fragrance. Also, she noticed that Luoluoli's eyes were very bright, like the stars in the night sky. However, when Luoluoli told her about her revenge plan, Tang Bao was shocked. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Don't you think you're at a disadvantage? Tang Bao was not sure. Gu Linshan's only weakness is that he's a clean freak. Tang Bao had never seen such revenge. Was this the heroic spirit of hurting the enemy 800 times and sacrificing 1,000 times? But she had to admit that it was very special. At noon, Di Haotian came to have lunch with her. At the dining table, Tang Bao tried not to hide anything with her watery eyes. Could she tell him that she was part of the revenge plan? She could not let Di Haotian know that she was used as bait. Say it. What? Tang Bao, who was in a daze, was stunned. She raised her head and met Di Haotian's extremely sharp eyes. She was in danger of getting into her soul. What are you thinking about? Before you deny it, think about whether you can escape from my eyes. Di Haotian warned her. Tang Bao was so shocked that she swallowed her saliva. Do you really want to say it? It's fake. Tang Bao cleared her throat. I encountered something very interesting today. Okay, I'll tell you everything. In the morning, Gu Linshan called me. Hearing this, Di Haotian's face darkened. The whole private room became cold. Listen to me first. Tang Bao, who was affected, quickly said. If I don't ask, will you not tell me? You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.